Hey
I was
guys.
sitting here nodding my head to the music, man, just kind of chilling out a little bit. Almost forgot we were starting here.
Hang on, are
Hi,
we gonna
Bruce.
high five?
1, 2. Rookies.
We,
Anyway,
Where's Bruce?
all right,
This is
yeah,
just
we're
getting
like,
weird now, guys. This
all
is
right. Let's just.
what's that? Is it the Step Brothers? What's that movie where the guy's like, I don't know what to do with my hands?
Night at the Roxbury.
That's what we're doing here. Bunch of goofs. How you guys doing?
It all is backwards on here, though. It's kind of weird to try and figure out it seems backwards. But anyway,
I think you can fix that in the settings.
yeah.
Yeah,
Watch. Ready? Watch. Abra.
So this is my left hand.
Cadabra.
We
Now
tried that,
left.
and it was weird.
What's weird? See, now your left is your left and your right is your right. And if you're confused, you can hold up your fingers out in front of you. And the one that makes an L is your left, Brian. That's just a little dad trick. Did you know that one?
The whole lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, and all that stuff, that just all confuses me.
Except for propane and propane accessories. There are no absolutes, Brian.
I know.
Come on, Bruce. Reel it back in for us, Bruce.
So Brian had this thing all planned out, this entrance, and we've just totally thrown it all.
We're digressing.
Heck. Yes.
Yeah.
Haven't even started yet. And we're digressing. How about that?
Yeah. Well, it's good that we have you here because, Ohioans, the cold weather, it freezes cells, and we just lose track of things. And
they say we're never smart enough to go south for the winter, so that's half the problem. I think is we're struggling with the IQ to start.
Could have a point there. But
yes, yeah.
Of course, I don't go north. I don't go north in the summertime either, so I guess it goes both ways, right?
Right. Yeah.
What's new with you guys?
A different hotel.
Look at Brian. You're in your home away from home again.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the wonderful city of Philadelphia.
So
my son is in Philadelphia right now, and
really
wherever he's at, it's not a great place. He's at a kind of a rough area apparently, and he climbs cell towers and maps them out or something like that, and so he gets sent all over the country, and he's currently in Philadelphia, and I guess I don't know. It's not crazy. I guess it's crazy wherever he's at right now, or wherever he was earlier today. It was just nuts. So
yeah, it's not. I'll just say, Philly has some beautiful areas where I have been. Isn't so beautiful. So I made sure that I have a little protection this week. So I'll just leave it at that.
Demonetized.
Yeah, just leave it.
Demonetized.
Yeah, thanks, demonetized. Brian. So, but yeah, it's my manager actually in the call today with her. She had asked me about it, and I said it's a little sketchy.
Well, Brian, you know what they say: beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
You did it wrong.
Then this is going the right way for me. Is that the wrong way for you?
It's going away from Brian.
What in the world?
It's because you flipped your thing.
These camera flipping conspiracies are just out of control.
Look at this. Do you see who's got a little circle next to his name there? DJ Barracuda.
Do any of you guys have some of that foundation stuff? Is this like one of those Dave Chappelle memes, where it's like the beanie and like, do you have any of that foundation stuff? Is that what's he talking about here? Is this a very special live stream today, Brian? Tonight?
I think so. Nightbot.
What's special? What's going on?
I broke a couple subscribers. So Nightbot bumped Terry R. Look at that. It said, boop, stop spamming words and phrases. And all she did was waved a couple times and had a, what's that face? I can't tell the little face, but if Nightbot acts up and bumping people for little wavy things, then I'll have to bump Nightbot. So,
yeah.
But no, it's 3,000 subscribers there.
Congratulations! That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of.
You crazy. Were just What were you at when we started this thing? Weren't you around 1,000 or were you around 2,000? I can't remember.
So you know me and remembering numbers and just different weird things. December 21st, when we did our stream, don't ask me how I remember that, I was at 1,878.
Wow.
So
That's a good memory.
I
Did you say
should
878?
1878.
Okay.
So I should by next Hive Life, I might be able to double.
It's possible for sure.
So yeah, no, but I've said it like a long way back. I never expected like many people to watch, and it kind of blows me away that as many people watch the videos now, and yeah, it's crazy to me.
Well,
So,
Brian, there's a reason they do that.
why?
It's because you could put out good content, man. It's good stuff.
That's true.
Listen, you think about
videos.
it. When you think about it, a vast majority of folks out there are, hobbyists or, and probably around your size of operation, and you're doing things the right way, and you're explaining exactly what you're doing, and that's what people want to see. So I think people are, I'm just all over the place with what I'm doing, but you actually do a great job of explaining your situation and what you're trying to accomplish, what your goals are, and then what you're seeing in the colony. I think people appreciate that. And so that's why you're growing, man, because you're doing a great job.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on that real quick and make you feel uncomfortable with patting you on the back, Brian. But you've hit 3,000 subscribers. That's a big deal. A lot of us can still remember what it was like when we get the first couple, and then 10 and 100, and like all you can think about is what is it going to be like when we hit 1,000? Do we ever get to 1,000? And then you get to 1,000, you dig in, and you go through, all those things that folks that put videos together do, or you doubt and you're thinking, is this worth all the time, and all these kind of things. But I think what's great about it, Brian, is you do a really good job of just being you. You're not trying to be anything else. There is only one Brian Coper at Castle Hives. And you do a great job of doing that. It's genuine. It's honest. It's the real deal. It's not trying to be anything else other than Brian and his bees. And I think that's a big deal. And I think folks, they see it, they pick up on it. And when folks get the opportunity to meet Brian in person, he is just as warm and big-hearted in person as he is on the videos. And it's refreshing, because a lot of folks think that they have to put on some kind of persona, or they have to they have to present them and their bees in a certain way. And that's what I think what I appreciate most about you, Brian, is you're just being Brian, and you can't fake that. And I think that's cool. So congratulations, Brian.
I appreciate that. It's a different white shirt today. So no, I appreciate that. I was on, and the reason why he said that is I jumped on Bob and Lee's live last night, and you wear the white shirt underneath of the dress shirt and all that stuff. And when I get back and just take the dress shirt off, I'm like,
I just roll with those shirts all the time. I actually had to dress up a little bit. Look, let's see. Nope. Is it this side now? This is from Keith Spielman at Hive, Half Tracks Honeybees, the Denton Military Show shirt he sent. It's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. No, I appreciate the kind words from everybody, because I mean, you guys both, you have more subs than what I do, and Bruce, you could remember it. I know it's just it's weird sometimes when you think about it. You put out this content, and you get all these followers, and look at this. What's
Nightbot doing?
Smiley things. Let me fix him. The spam thing. I'm gonna thump Nightbot.
What?
Here.
Nightbot's like thumping people who don't need to be thumped here.
Is it repetitions? I don't know. Let me delete that. There we go.
See, there's no way I could go on during a live and do that. That would freak me out. like
All
this
right,
your
it's
show, and
close.
you're on there just taking care of business right there.
We'll see. We'll see. So what? I
That's why
forget what
Brian's the
else.
man. He's got the personality, and he knows how to work all the buttons and knobs and levers in the background. That's hard.
Doing it with the iPad over here now today.
Wow.
Greg, I've got to do that,
Brian,
buddy.
thanks for everything that you do. You've spent a lot of time here at the Learning Yard, taking videos, showing folks what we do here. And I know you didn't maybe think a whole lot of that, but it was in a weird time for us with time, and we couldn't put any content out at all. But the fact that you were here and you took the time to come and fellowship and be a part of the community and take the video and edit it and publish it, that meant an awful lot to us. So thanks, Brian.
You guys are, I've always told you it's no problem. So yeah, Hershey Med. Yeah, it's no problem. You guys are your family, so
Certainly feels that way.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
not just you guys, but everybody on here. I mean, so many
Yep.
folks on here we recognize week after week, and we appreciate that.
I know. Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah.
after all this time, after 3,000 subscribers, do you remember a point in time where, before I ask the question, there's a lot of folks and friends that are on here of ours that have YouTube channels, and they're trying to grow a channel. And I think sometimes as humans, we have a bad habit of comparing ourselves and what we do with everybody else. And you feel like there's standards that you can't meet, and you just don't. Was there any point in time along this journey so far that you felt a little bit discouraged? And if so, what do you think it was that kind of pulled you out of that?
Man, you're coming out with questions. I don't know. I never really got discouraged, at any point. There's times where, and you guys both know, I mean, it's just the workload. You try and balance all of that, and you just get so run down, and you're tired. But I've never really gotten discouraged at any point. I've just kept plugging along, and part of why I just do that too is just, I mean, like you said, it's the community of people and just the constant support and everything. That's why I do a lot of what I do. And like Friday going out and meeting here, I understand now there's going to be like 10 people at Jason's place all coming because the word got out I was going to pop over, and people are coming from all, so that's why I do some of this. It's such an amazing community that I can honestly say there hasn't been a moment where I've just gotten discouraged or, I just keep plugging along. I just, yeah.
Rodney's got a good question there.
What's that?
What is your most memorable YouTube video?
Oh, man.
Great question, Rodney.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know. The one that I made, and it was actually referenced, who was it? Dan, that said he found me when I lost all my hives. Such a wonderful video. But that video, actually, there was another channel, the Wickershire Project, and I don't. Billy will kind of come around. He's a homesteader. Him and his wife, his family, they got property and they're building a home, and they have a lot going on. So he's, he puts out content when he can, but he literally made an entire video piggybacking off of my video. And he messaged me and he said, "Do you mind if I do this?" I said, "No, it's, that's fine." And he had said, he's like, and he was like choked up and stuff in the video. He just said, "I can tell how much this affected you." And for somebody to do that, and I saw right there in his video how it affected him, I was just like, I was blown away. I was. And and you think that's a video where I basically showed everyone out there, and a new subscriber even, Well, hey, guess what? I know enough about bees that I kill them all.
It's a good place to start, isn't it?
Yeah, I wiped out all my hives. Let's start. Let's start fresh. Learn new techniques.
But, I think in this particular niche, people want to see who you are.
Yeah.
There are people that have, and you can do some polished professional type videos that have like how to. There are people that do that are professionals at it. They can talk about how to do things and beekeeping 101. This is how you do this and that. But people also want to see the man behind the videos, behind the who you really are.
Yeah.
And I think, at least I know both of you guys are extremely good at that. Even when Greg makes his ultra professional videos, you can sense the absolute, the feeling behind those videos, and they give you like the last couple he's made have just been, oh my gosh, like chill bumps, just like both like tear your heart out and motivate you and inspire you at the same time. And so that's what people want to see, I think. And anyone on here in the comments, I think, would agree that they want to see who you are. That's why they watch, hopefully, each of us and what we're doing. And I don't think any of us are trying to, we're trying to create a good product, but I think, I'm not afraid to open up to who I am and let you see who I am in my videos. And I hope you feel that in my videos. But the personality is what I think people are after. And we're all so different, but that helps it all just come together, I think.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah.
And I think a combination also of the regular videos we produce plus this live right here, this situation really helps kind of draw out not only our personalities and this community, but also you can see people's personalities. They have a chance to contribute to the live through the feed and also the guests that we've had on. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, this, I'll tell you, and again, don't even ask me how I remember the dates and all that stuff. My brain is very weird, but I'll just say the end of December, when we started this, I never thought that we would grow like we have, that the community would just come together like it has. We kind of, we hit it at the right time. Like I think we've all said, it's just, there was that energy from the conference and we've kind of continued it. And, but you look at all the people that, oh, look at this one here, Ian. You look at all the people that we've connected with and just, like Greg taking his trip recently and just meeting up with everyone, across the country, driving down. It's just that community that we have now. It's nationwide. There's people from down south, there's people out California, there's people all over the place. And I mean, that you're just not going to be able to stop that now. So love it.
Well, this is kind of from what I understand, this has kind of been what you've been trying to do all along, what you would hope, what we're hoping to do with your lives that you've been doing for a long time. And I just remember Brian Carlton. I don't know if he's on here tonight, but he's a character, man. Brian is awesome. And I wish he wouldn't have gotten rid of his channel because he had some pretty fun stuff on there. But man, he told me I was interested in doing lives, and I did a couple of ones. And he's like, man, you should do some lives. And so I did one in the bee yard one day. I did a couple just kind of right here by myself, tried to do them. And he was my moderator and stuff. And I was doing them on my phone, had no idea what I was doing. But he said, hey man, that Brian, that Castle Hives guy, he's doing them all the time. So about I guess it was a year and a half later. I don't remember how long it was. Maybe it was, anyway, I'm not sure. Maybe it was less than that. Maybe it was about 6 or 8 months later. Anyway, that's when I reached out to you and I said, hey, man, I've heard you're good at these things. And I'd actually checked in. I kind of watched a couple of them to see what was going on. And about the same time, Greg had contacted me, and it just kind of worked out that way. And remember, we were talking about, you're like, well, why don't you just come on one of mine? And the next thing I know, and we were talking about, maybe we should invite some folks. And next thing I know, Brian's like, well, we've got Ian coming on and Cayman's coming on and Jose's coming on. He had like 7 people. Greg had like 7 people lined up to be on there. I'm like, man, he's like, all I did was just ask them and they said yes. So it was fun. That first night was a blast, and that kind of kicked
That
everything
was
off.
fun.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. Gosh. Awesome. What do you say, Greg?
I'm I'm wondering if you've got a Flower Street Farm and Bees.
Oh man, Brian, thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Happy
Lakewood,
birthday.
if yeah, happy birthday. And if I remember the town, I'm trying to think. Was it Lakewood, Colorado again? Lakewood? I know it's suburban Denver. I wish that I could have been able to go over and visit him when I was out there.
Brian, I'm
So,
seeing a trend here in your super chats. 1999 and now it's 20.
oh,
Wow.
wow, look at that. See?
I had a question for you, Brian.
What's that?
So sometimes we put out videos and the video that we really want the world to see, no one sees. And then the ones that you just aren't really prepared for everyone, taking a look at, just things have a mind and nature of their own. Is there a video that you've put out that if someone said Castle Hive's YouTube channel, what is the one video that you produced that you want folks to see?
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh man, that's a good one. I have 400 and some videos out there now.
What?
Yeah.
Golly.
So to just focus on one, it's just so hard, I have a little intro that just it explains a little bit of the channel. I think I need to update that though because it's about 2 years old. But I think maybe that video that I had already mentioned about losing the colonies and that, because that kind of just takes it. Here is who I am. Here's what I'll show. It's not all fluffy unicorns and butterflies, and you're not always going to have Phil is funny. Phil is really funny.
Oh, way to go, Phil. 2001. Nice. Phil's in the lead at 2001.
You don't always have happy days in beekeeping, so that's why I show that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say just one, like I said, because there's certain videos that I've done that, like I've got two grilling videos that I think have my most views. I'm a beekeeping channel, and an unboxing video of a pellet grill has some of my highest views. And I'm like, and people are commenting in there. They're like, "What are you doing with a grill? And I'm like, yeah, just go with it,
Jeez.
So
yep.
It's just so weird. So you know what else is weird? There's this state. So we talk about, in our area, we talk about snow and we talk about different things like that. There's this country that's above us, right?
Yeah, Canada.
I think they say a lot, don't they? Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really?
Right. We got to bring somebody on, eh?
Oh, wow. Awesome. Oh, my goodness. Look at who we have here.
G'day, guys.
What's up, Ian?
Oh, I'm tired.
Your season, literally this year, when I've been watching you, it has just been this and this and this, and I'm just like,
quite the roller coaster. Yeah, that's for sure. We're just entering into our busy season, if you believe it or not. We're just getting to the end of the honey extraction, and now we're going to start harvest. So I would have been on a combine tonight, but they're running to green, so they shut the machines down. So we run a couple hours longer in the honey house today. So I was able to join you. We just finished up. Carrie's cleaning up. I'm just tapping off barrels. So yeah,
When you
things
say
are happening.
harvest, you say harvest, what do you mean? Harvesting your crops? Is that what
Yeah,
you mean?
wheat, canola, corn. Corn's going to be a little while yet, but the wheat, we
Wow.
combined some wheat the last couple days. It's turning out real nice. And we desiccated the canola, so we're going to be another week before we hit that. But the rest of the wheat's not quite ready. We have 4 combines. We're ready to pounce on it. We're just waiting for
Oh
it to
my
mature.
gosh.
Just beautiful
Wow.
harvest weather up here, nice and hot and dry. So it's good.
Now,
Yeah, it's good. I say I'm tired, but I love being tired because this is what it's all about, right?
yeah, you
That
you
makes
said
sense.
you're
Yeah.
about to enter your busy season.
Yeah. It's, oddly enough, Dave. But well, it's because everything is just on the line. Like here's
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
bounty, and it's in front of us, and Mother Nature can take it away just like that within about 3 days.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
matter of once it comes ready, we go, and we're running like 15, 18-hour days just to get her done. So basically, I run the honey through the day, and then I hop on the combine in the evening, and I run late into the night, and then I start again the next morning. So
Oh my gosh.
it's a lot of
Wow.
fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
We need to have like a stream team, like, working weekend up at Stepler Farms.
Now you're more than welcome up here. I'll put you to work.
Each one of us could run a combine.
Oh, come up right now. I just lost my summer staff to school. I hire school kids and I also
Oh.
hire university kids. So the university left me the week before, and on Friday I lost my high school kids. So it's just Carrie and I in the honey house. We have about
Oh my
40,000 pounds to extract. We should be done by Friday, but I'm calling Sandy and my wife, Sandy. So she's in there helping me too, helping us get it all done. So yeah.
Man.
So if it works out all right, if we get done on Friday, that means when the crop matures and the combine start again, maybe on Saturday, Sunday, I should be able to transition right into the harvest crew. So that'll work out just fine.
Oh my gosh.
Man, that's incredible.
We
Well,
go
man,
we
Ryan, you there?
so far. I know Greg's probably got more than that. And then we drop down to the 70 whatever 100 pounds. And then you're saying, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a really odd year this year for me. Like in the spring, actually I had a really good winter. I wintered very well. And then the spring just knocked the crap out of me. I've never experienced anything like that before, and just kept accumulating losses because Mother Nature wasn't cooperating. And my bees got sick. And it wasn't until midway through June I actually started pulling out of it. The weather come back, and I put a lot of time and feed into them, and they started to respond to that. And then the honey flow hit, and it just provided. So I'm down on numbers for my hives. I'm about 80% what I typically am. But it's a bumper crop. So if I don't count my nukes, like I built my nukes late, and instead of building them, and what I regularly do is I build them into the small equipment and have them build the crop up. I put them into singles so they built out before they built up. So I didn't, because I had to use up all this brood comb so the wax moth wouldn't take it. So I wasn't able to get much off the nuke. So if I take the nukes out of the equation, because they'll pull my average down, just focusing on my production colonies, it was a bumper crop for me this year.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's been quite
I don't want
the
to
ride.
boast. Yeah, I don't want to boast or anything, but that's just how it is, right? It's just like a roller coaster. I forget who said that here. Just like shoo, shoo. I'm on the top right now. So
Yeah.
I just hope I stay there for a little longer.
That's for sure.
Ian, a lot of farmers will agree, and there seems to be, when things are too good, you're almost waiting for the shoe to drop, and then when things are bad, you're waiting for them to kind of pick up, and you're never taking anything for granted. And I know we've all been following you along this year, and have seen, some of those setbacks. And then once you have one storm literally after the other on top of you, if I could ask you a sensitive question, when you're in the middle of those storms yourself, and you're feeling like it's all going downhill and you're drowning in it, how do you pull it together and move forward with everything?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think you can kind of relate to it. I watched a video of yours, Greg, where you had a storm come and just rip your yard right apart. I think you was that in the moment when you were making that video?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could hear it in your voice. It's just like, and I did the same when I got washed out for the second time with that flash
No.
flood. I picked my camera up. I don't know why I did that, but I just picked it up because that's what I do, I guess, talking to the bloody camera. And that's what I was seeing at the moment is just it tears a guy apart. They're our babies, we look after them and they're our responsibility. And it's just heartbreaking to see something like that happen. But that's a really good question. How do you pull yourself through those moments? And I mean, there's beekeepers up here who experienced tremendous loss this winter and they haven't been able to rebuild. And I mean, they're going through the same thing. How do you carry on? How do you move forward? And I guess, I don't know, is perseverance. I mean, we got to see the good with the bad. This is our livelihood, right? So we almost in a way, we expect the bad to happen. So we have to prepare ourselves in a way to be able to handle the bad when it does happen so we can push through it because there's always light on the other side of the tunnel, right? I learned that the hard way. You send yourself into the hospital with anxiety and stress if you just don't be able to handle it. So you learn how to handle those situations and you try to take a step back and then you just pick up a beehive and then you pick up a frame and a lid. You put it together, put it on the truck and you just carry on. That's all you can do, right? Yeah. So I don't know how to answer that question, but other than just
that's it.
Keep on moving, right? Because after that, if you allow yourself to recover, then it opens yourself up for the opportunity for success again, right? That second yard that flooded on me, that flash flood, that one caught me completely off guard. It's just like, holy shit, it just happened again. My hives have floated across the field into the ditch and they're sitting over there. So we went and picked them up and we salvaged what we could. We worked to rebuild them. We merged and we added strength. They built me a tremendous honey crop this year. I can hardly believe it. It's just absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
But we put our time and effort into it just to be able to rebuild them. But that's what you got to do. We're farmers, so we have thick skin in a lot of ways. I think that's what sets us apart from a lot of people is we can push through challenges like that. And not that we accept it. It's just we can handle it, I guess, in a way.
Ian, do you think the crazy weather contributed to the bumper crop? Do you think the lake cold and the excessive rain, did that help all the flowers produce more?
Yeah, and I was anticipating that, and maybe just to elaborate a little bit further onto Greg's comment there, all this misery is happening, but it's adding up in my head. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. I know it's there and it's going to come. I just got to get these hives into shape. So we poured all of our effort into our hives this year. We scraped, boy, did we work hard just to get these colonies built up because we knew it was coming. Like we're having a hard time ourselves, but the farmers were too. We also grain farm, right? So our crop was going in late, really late. And we really struggled to get that crop in because of not just the wet, but we had bug issues, the flea beetles come and just completely devoured our canola crop 2 days after emergence. 500 acres. We were like, what just happened there? Then we had another pounding rain. So we had reseed and every farmer across the country is doing that. We had crops staggered off the start all the way until about 2.5 weeks ago. And then we had some sunflowers put in because the guys changed their crop. And alfalfa, guys left their alfalfa bloom a little bit longer just because of weather issues. All these things kind of added up. Being a late season allowed my hives to catch up, and it happened the way I was anticipating it to happen. So I just had to make sure I had my hives in condition at that time, and we did, and they just exploded right on time. So, all that awesome moisture, the crops just tapped right down into it, gave me nectar.
Yeah, I was just watching those videos. You could feel the intensity of the situation in your voice, and even late when you got them out, if I remember right, we had a late freeze, and then you had, was it a raccoon or some raccoons that were taking the feeders off the hives? I mean, my goodness, you're out there like, I've got to get this little crazy critter that's taking the feeders off of my hives. You were just, it was like one thing
caught that little another. Bastard. Yeah, that first yard that flooded on me, because we had that flash flood because the snow all melted all at the same time because we had 3 inches of rain that night. I caught him in the trap, and he was in the yard that flooded, and he must have had his little nose sticking out of the cage to stay alive. He stayed alive, and I felt mercy on him, so I let him go. And he went out and he jumped into the creek, and he washed all the way down. Dad said, "Why didn't you just kill the bugger? He's going to be back." I said, "No way, he's down." He was back in 2 days taking corks off on me. Taking pails down.
Oh,
But I was,
Yep.
that's just the fun of it.
No doubt,
Yeah,
man.
the
Always
fun
an
of it.
adventure.
Oh, man. It's been a year, I think, for everyone.
In one way or the other, it has, hasn't it?
It has the whole entire season, I think, for everyone. Now, I haven't had this year, and I'm going to knock on wood and cross my fingers, toes, everything. I haven't had like that down moment like what you have, Ian, just with the weather and everything up there and the storm that hit Greg. I haven't had a moment like that yet. It's bound to happen, whether we get the winter or whatever, it's just bound to happen. But this season has just been crazy. I've gotten more honey myself this year than my wife was telling me. We were out of honey because I didn't harvest any last fall. And now I've got a couple buckets sitting in a room in the house. And I said, "Well, you said you wanted honey. So, and she's like, "Yeah, but I didn't mean to bring buckets of it back home."
Yeah, man.
Didn't she really didn't clarify,
Yeah.
So, yeah, crazy year. He said, "There's a lot of people in here. I see, man."
Yeah, it's just ramped up the last few minutes, actually.
Yeah.
Well, Ian, I appreciate you sharing with us, kind of how you deal through that. I think we're all at one. We're all going to face storms in life, whether it's personal or a business or with the bees or livestock or your crops. But I think there's a what I pulled from what you said is there's a certain those storms are going to happen. It's what you do when you're getting pounded that makes the difference. And sometimes it's I think what maybe heard you say without saying is you have to kind of be able to detach from the situation just enough to be able to look at it for what it is. And then at least for me, is once you do that and you separate yourself and it's almost like you're looking at yourself in the storm, then all of a sudden there's a certain mode of clarity that I think just kind of happens. And now it's okay, dig in, and like you said, it's putting that first, bottom board and box and lid and stand and yard and truck. And then you get through it and you're thinking, man, just had no idea. But I appreciate you sharing that because sometimes folks will see, if you share loss that they think it's this big, and whether it's one hive or if it's 1,000, I think it's all important to be able to share with each other how we work through and how we dig in, because you can't ever really be prepared for all the storms in life, but you can learn how to prepare your mindset and what you do when those storms come. And I think that makes a difference. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really odd experiencing situations like that with the camera in my hand. I'm sitting there looking into the camera at the time saying, why in the heck am I speaking into the camera right now? It's really a weird thing.
I know.
But it maybe is something that I don't know. I don't even know why I'm doing my YouTube project and just carried it on. It's just something that just keeps on going, right? And just a perspective like that maybe helps other people realize what's involved with this business and this craft and agriculture. I'm a champion of agriculture in a lot of ways, and maybe that's why I'm doing this. And I just like to reach out to promote agriculture in general. I think society is becoming detached from what's actually going on with food production, and they don't understand. And they don't understand, and they start dictating how we do things, and it doesn't make any sense. So just trying to reach out and provide a perspective to see, what's going on. Maybe just helps maybe just a little bit. If it's just a little bit, then maybe it counts too, right?
It keeps it real though, and how you make it through those situations. I mean, that shows one's character. It's easy to, in situations like that, to just throw in the towel and quit. That's the easy road. But, like Greg, like you did this year, battling through it and overcoming that situation. And now you're saying you have your bumper crop.
It's weird.
Hard work pays off,
Yeah.
Well,
And
and
misery
also Shannon,
loves country. Or sorry, go ahead.
Loves company. Yeah, I was going to say, that what you said there about why do I have the camera on and why am I sharing this right now? That same thing went through my mind. I had no idea why I decided to go live and share that and then put a video together later. That's not something I would normally even do, but I got to tell you, Ian, somewhere in the back of my mind, if I can see that Ian can withstand a storm and lose 500 or 700 or however many colonies it was for one storm, and then another storm, and you share that, that's a tremendous lighthouse to me and everybody else. And if we all do the same thing, because we know, hey, if Ian can if he can stand tall during losing 500 time and time again, and is digging in and putting those pieces back together again and rebuilding and moving on, then there's hope for all of us that whether it's 100 or 50 or 5 or 1, that we can do the same thing too. So I appreciate you sharing those moments that you have.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna do something here that's really gonna piss Carrie off. She's working right now. Just give me a second. I got to get back to work, but before I do, I'm going to. Carrie's she's gonna hate this. She's been working really hard. She's gonna throw something at me for turning the music off. But...
Oh man.
Yeah, we just finished up extracting right now.
Oh wow!
Oh, my God.
Look at that.
You're on live.
She handled that really good. You'll hear about that later, though, huh?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't throw something up.
She's just glad to be done with it. She's glad to be finishing up.
Yeah, we put a long day in today. Yeah, we did 16 barrels, I think it was. We're still pushing it through, so that's good. Yeah, I was expecting it to kind of, we're bringing more partials in, so I was expecting maybe not to produce as much today, but they seem to be coming through. Boy, but it'll probably taper off tomorrow. We'll see. What is
the map that's behind you?
Oh, that's my apiary. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what
Rob. That's our RM. So you can kind of see this is Miami here. This is Altamont. I'm in. Where am I? I'm here. Wow. We farm a lot of land too. Our family's been here for over 100 years, so we know our neighbors. And I've been able to push back the beekeepers in this area, stretching out to here and down to there. But nice little place for me.
Wow.
Nice and close. A lot of beekeepers, they travel like hours one way to the other, and I'm able to keep everything nice and tightened together. So it's nice and convenient.
How far is it? How far is it from one end to the other?
Miami, I've go right out to Rosebank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. About 20 miles one way, 20 miles, and then looking at about 10 miles deep.
That's not bad.
Wow,
that's not bad
nice.
At all. And each of those is a different spot for bees. Each of those is a different location.
Yeah, every tack is a location. I try to do everything on a 1.5 mile grid. I'm starting to get a little bit tight for. I should spread out just a little bit more, because things when we start robbing, we get robbing just like they're there because there's so many bees and concentration. But I have things spread out to be able to utilize all the crop that we have. Like we have canola and sunflowers and stuff like that. I super focus on them to be able to get lots of pollination out of them, and then I spread it out to the rest of the neighbors. And then where I don't have a bee yard, I pay the farmer anyway a tub of honey just to keep the other beekeepers away. So I'm kind of like, that's my own little racket.
Nice.
So you're the only you're the only person in that area. Nobody else around, right there.
Yeah, I have a guy that way and a guy that way and a guy this way and a guy that way. So we all have a territory.
That helps you be able to mate your queens with bees that you're familiar with as well. You don't have a lot of feral other beekeepers' bees mixing and mingling with your bees.
Yeah, I'm able to kind of focus on that. Well, last year's queens are this year's drones. So I'm able to, my breeding program is internal. It's kind of like what you're saying.
Mhm.
Also, the biggest advantage is disease control. I don't have the drift from my neighbors. I used to have a organic beekeeper right here, like right in the middle of my apiary, going that way. And good Lord, I could not keep my mite counts down because he was just he had mite bombs all the time he was fighting with. I just could not. The drift was too much, right? Finally, he went broke, and then I was able to take his apiary. So, or not take it, but assume the territory. And ever since that happened, I've been able to keep my boundaries at least 2 miles to 3 miles around, and it's helped me. It allows me to open feed when I want to without interfering at pale feed places where I have some neighbors close. No problem with that disease drift. So it allows me to do what I want to do here. Quite convenient.
I think that's a great principle for anyone who is, how can I put this? I know we have all different types of beekeepers on here, but anyone who is thinking about going quote unquote treatment free, or as you put it, organic, you need to think about your neighbors, because even if you want to develop that type of a line and you want to get there, and even if you accomplish that someday, you're sharing all your problems with your neighbors. And so that's something I think as beekeepers, we should be mindful of that, and so that's just, that was a great point that you made. I know you're on a very large scale, but you had to fight that for years and years and years. He had the freedom to do it the way he wanted to, but it affected you, and each of us, we don't know who we're affecting, whether we're small or big or whatever. Even the hobby beekeepers out there that have 10 hives could be affecting the guy a half mile down the road, and so we just got to be careful and be mindful of other people out there and not be stubborn.
I have no problem with that type of beekeeping, but if they don't look after their husbandry, then I do have a problem with it. Just like every other animal, you got to look after it, because especially the bees, because you affect your neighbors, like you're saying, Bruce. So if they're going to propagate their stock in this way and they want to select their breeding program in that fashion, then when they do have issues, they got to take care of it, because it's just going to die anyway. So why are they just letting it die? Take it, I don't know, drop some formic in there or whatever you want to do. Drop a new queen in to get more genetics, change the genetics around, because obviously it's not working for them, and then carry forward. But they can't just pollute. Like, I'm very strong in that. I know I piss a lot of beekeepers off and I talk like this. I'm also a grain farmer, so I do believe in this type of management, but
if there's a problem, take care of it. If there's a problem,
bang my head against the wall. Exactly. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'll get some emails just for saying that.
Oh man, I was trying to stir it up a little bit, man. I was trying to get some high, some entertainment going on here. But anyway, I thought that's just important for people to think about when they're just going down this treatment-free train. And it's, I agree with you that if you want to develop a line, I know folks like Greg with the, he has a queen breeding program, and some of these people out there trying to develop a line and work towards stronger bees. But if you just, like you said, if you just stick some hives out there and just let them die, all of them die except for the ones that are the strongest, and you hope to have treatment-free bees in the future by doing that, you're going to create a lot of mite bombs in that process that are going to affect both your bees and the neighbors. You may have a couple of hives that survive, but what about the, say, 18 that didn't, that are just sharing mites with everybody? And so that's pretty important. And I know I've been on the bandwagon, the quote unquote treatment-free bandwagon in the past, and I've just kind of come out of that a little bit. I don't have any problem, like you said, with people who are trying to do it with a plan. But just to say, I think it's naive to say I'm going to stick some bees out there, not touch them, and then the ones that survive, survival of the fittest is what kind of the mentality is, and that just doesn't work. You've got to manage your system. You've got to manage what you're trying to do.
Yeah, you look at what Randy Oliver is doing, and he's doing exactly that. And he's super focused on his monitoring. He's watching to see what's going on, and he's propagating from the ones that aren't causing any issue. Like, oh, this one has no mites. These ones all do. Knock the mites out of them. This one is, without mites for some reason. Breed from that, and he's been doing it for time and time and time again, putting a tremendous amount of effort into it, and he's making progress, he's telling me. So that's quite exciting. So I support initiatives like that 100%.
Absolutely.
But he's being respectful, and he's looking after his husbandry at the same time, because he is a commercial beekeeper. He needs to keep these bees alive, right? He can't fall into a bad year within even 10. So he's focusing on the problem, dealing with it, and then requeening it to be able to bring the genetics that he's trying to propagate. And he says he's making headway. He figures he's on to something. So we'll see where that leads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great stuff, man.
But with that said, I got to get back to the honey house here to do some work. But I appreciate the invite, Brian, and I'm looking forward to Hive Life. This time I'll make it.
Yes, we look forward to it.
See you there.
Look forward to having you there.
Ian, thanks for popping in, and I might sneak a bottle of Kraken down to Tennessee. So.
Double Kraken eggnog. Yeah, I'm looking forward to winter. Sit back in my chair, that fireplace, sipping back in some eggnog for Christmas. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm there already. Any rate, have a good evening,
We'll
guys.
see you, Ian. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for checking in.
Man,
what a treat that was. That's awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
Last week we had Jose. This week we had Ian. What else you got in store for us, Brian?
Nothing.
Anyway, he just made some tremendous points there, from the overcoming adversity, which we've talked about that in the past some, to this whole mite bomb thing. And I can kind of see both sides of the story and accept both sides of the story, as long as, like he refers to it as husbandry, basically beekeeping husbandry or livestock husbandry. And that's exactly what it is. You're trying to, you're managing your bees, you're managing your livestock, you're managing your crops, and you're doing what it takes to make sure that you're taking care of yours and you're not creating a problem for somebody else, while in the meantime, just trying to improve your product. And I think that's really what being a beekeeper and not a beehaver is all about.
Yep. Yeah.
Bruce, are you saying people should take responsibility for their bees and their health and actually do those things and make sure that these bees are moving forward and not a liability?
Absolutely.
It sounds outlandish.
One thing that I don't know what the word is. One thing that I'll just say gets to me a little bit is when I hear people, anytime they lose a beehive, they say, well, it's because they're spraying for weeds in my neighborhood, or, it's got to be because they got poisoned, or, I've had bees now this is my 10th year, so I'm not a pro by any stretch. However, I don't know that I've ever had a hive where I've seen for sure that they were poisoned, where they come back, the tongues are sticking out, they're laying in a clump in front of the hive. I've seen that happen. I had my friend Davis one day, he had I think 90 or 100 hives parked at his place out in Cowarts, Alabama. And one of the hives had a bunch of bees that were doing it. They were coming back and they were just, flailing around on the ground, and they were dying. Those bees were, and they had probably gotten into something, but it wasn't all of them. It was just that one colony that we noticed it. So I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in blaming somebody else for our bee loss that we don't. I'm guilty of it myself. I want to say, well, what's the problem? What's going on? That we don't look at our particular practices and figure out what we can do to fix the problem. I live in a farming area here. We've got all kinds of crops all around us everywhere. You've seen it, Greg. You were down here. We've got cotton everywhere. We've got corn, soybeans. We got some soybeans. We got some peanuts. And we've got crop dusters. We've got all kinds of stuff happening around here. And my bees overall have thrived. There have been some issues, I think occasionally, I wonder, I've been having some issues at the cotton field that we drove by that time. And I wonder if maybe there has been something that's gone on. Many of the colonies are super strong, but I've been having some die-offs. But then I'm looking at mite counts, and some of those mite counts are still high, even though I've been treating some. And so I've got to figure out maybe a different treatment, maybe use Apigard or something. And so, but those are some of the colonies that came back from California. So, that's like a great big huge mite bomb out there, and who knows what we brought back. And so I don't know what the deal is. All I know is that I'm not blaming the farmers. I'm not blaming the beekeeper down the road. I've got to figure out what I can do to better manage my bees. And so that's what I think. Like somebody said up there, we got to take responsibility for our own situation and do the best we can. Tim Ives, who I've kind of always had a lot of respect for. A lot of people think he's, don't agree with what he does, but I know the guy's got a couple of hundred colonies at least, big, huge triple D, that's what he does up there in Indiana. But he is in a huge farming area. There's all kinds of crops around, and he doesn't have the loss. He doesn't. So I think we got to be careful about blaming on the sprays or just look at what you're doing. Look at your mite counts. Look at how you're managing your bees. And if all that stuff is under control and all that looks good, then maybe you can look outside of it. But don't just say that, oh, my bees are dying. It's got to be the neighbor, 3 houses down sprayed for mosquitoes. They drive through my neighborhood with the mosquito truck, once a week. And my bees in my house right here that are like, you saw them, Greg, maybe 15 yards from the road are some of my strongest bees. And so they spray like right there. Right. Just got to be careful about who we're blaming for stuff, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
You got to be on top of these things too. Like I know we had a comment here from Nick Zooks. If you've seen our latest video, the little honey shout outs, he gave us a jar of his black locust honey, which is a honeybee dad. So Nick, thanks for the honey. But he mentioned he had a mite count of 1 on 8/8 and 14 on 9/5, and I think that's awesome. Not that he's got a mite count of 14, but the fact that he's on top of it, he's actually doing something to monitor as it goes to then take some action. There's been a lot of folks in Ohio who are reporting almost out of the blue mite counts, and we how do those kind of things happen? Well, I think we've kind of touched on that a lot already tonight, but when you hit those dearth times, it seems to be right after a dearth is when folks are starting to see mite numbers start to kind of jump. And so I don't wonder if we're getting into a lot of the communicable kind of things where bees are interacting, kind of starving for the same resources and are not picking back and bringing things back. When you get into some of these dearth times too, you can have in certain parts of the country where some of these colonies can be absolutely pollen bound or honey bound. There's no room to lay. Dearth hits. There's not a lot of population. There's a lot of resources. Massive colonies can get robbed out. Well, when that happens, your colonies, if they are robbing out those things and bringing them back, you got to believe that they're bringing back some of those nasties along there with them. And you get these numbers that are kind of jumping out. What's cool about what Nick is doing, and a lot of folks, they're getting on board with actually taking responsibility for their bees, what they're doing about it. They're not sitting around and waiting for labeling laws. They're not sitting around and waiting for someone in some higher position to tell them, go ahead and do this, do this, do this. No, they're taking responsibility for their bees. They're looking at the situation. They're making a call, and they're keeping their bees alive. And I think that's a big deal, and that matters. And so it doesn't seem that outlandish, but when you are beginning and you're starting, you don't know what the answers are. You don't know where to look. You don't know how to do all these things, but just simply doing something to monitor where you're at. I love that comment that Nick put in there because he's on top of it. He's able to monitor. If you're able to monitor, you're able to adapt. You're able to do something about it rather than waiting until some mysteriously unknown time after you pull honey to start to get the ball rolling. A lot of folks around the country are finding out it's too late at that point in time to do much about it.
I will say I've been much more vigilant this year on actually taking the mite counts, and I've learned a few things by doing that. Still learning actually that, first of all, I've learned that actual Apiary strips have been effective. A lot of 0 mite counts, but then the one on my video I did that was released a couple days ago, that one actually had 5 in it, which is technically below threshold, but it started off with 16, so it's knocked them way back. But then I'm having on some of my pollination bees, I'm finding mite loads above the threshold, but then many of the colonies have 0. So that's one of the most frustrating things. And I don't know if you guys have any suggestions or thoughts on the fact that, do you notice in your apiaries or in your bee yards that you might have that setup where you have maybe 80 to 90% of them don't have any mites or a very low mite count, and then you have the other 5 to 10% or 15, 20% that are above threshold where they have issues? Do you find that? And what do you do to attack that situation to try and bring it back down to 100% as close as possible, 100% within threshold? Does that make
Brian,
sense
what
what
do you
I'm
see?
saying? You know, why is it that there's just one or two that have the issue and it's not all of them?
I had one colony that had, I washed, I think it was 10. Not horrible, but not the best. All the others were like 1. So, but now that was my oldest colony. So I just looked at it also. I'm like, well, maybe, the mites, they've had a little bit more time to get established in there. I just took it that it was that. Like I said before, I treat my yard across the board the same. So when I saw that, they all got OA. It was just, I'm not going to treat one. Yeah, there are those out there that say, oh well, those colonies that washed one, yeah, you're fine, don't treat them. Well, I look at it also in that there's so many variables in, and I'm going to go back to a guest that we had on, Humberto. There's so many variables. So, really, did those colonies only have one mite per 300? Did I wash them properly? Did I collect a sample from the correct area in the colony? There's so many variables, and that's why I kind of react the same across the board, so I don't like to take those risks. I've been stung before and I've learned my lesson. So, but yeah, and why that one had 10, who knows? I don't know.
Did you check it after to see if it knocked them down, or are you going to check it again and see?
I need to, yeah, I need to, I need to get home.
Well, that's true. It's hard when you're in Pennsylvania and you're trying to, that is difficult.
I'll only be home this week, Saturday, and then I'll get home Friday about midnight, and I have to leave Sunday at like 2 p.m. again for Philly. So I don't have enough time. But now when I get home, my plan, and I know this, it's getting a little bit late into the season to do this, but my plan is by that point, my supers should be about close to coming off. I plan on doing some washes at that point, and if I have to get a late season treatment on them, then I'm going to. Hopefully, my mite counts didn't jump so high that it's going to affect that winter population, but I'm going to check them then. I've hit them with the OA, multiple treatments. If anyone asks, how much oxalic acid did you use, Brian? There's some information that's secret. So, I'm just hoping that the plan that I set into place worked so that when I do have time to do the washes, I see decent numbers. So,
Greg, how do you handle that if you have just a few that have above threshold mite counts?
It's sometimes scale is one of these tricky things because it's really hard to know how many of those might be there. Let's say, for argument's sake, you've got 100 colonies, and you're washing 10 of them to get a pulse of the situation, and you find of those 10, you're 0 and 1s, and you've got 1 or 2 that might be, let's say, 3 or 4. Well, in my mind, those ones that are at 3 and 4 are going to be at 7 and 8 faster than the ones that are at 0 or 1 will get to 4. And so in my mind, I'm treating everything like it's that higher number.
Mm-hmm.
The trick is, how do those higher number colonies get so high? We don't really know unless you're washing every single colony, which is impossible. Well, I shouldn't say that. At certain scales, it totally is possible. unless you have those data points, there's no way to really know what happened. But sometimes I think we get caught into cycles where you might have a spring buildup that's going into the summer flow, and you're checking just to kind of see where things are going. As you maybe pull those supers off, you might check again. Everything kind of seems to be okay. You put your empty frames back and have them kind of coast and kind of backfill, and you're waiting for summer honey, and everything might be okay. You're not wanting to get in and do a whole lot. That the tricky part happens for us in that summer dearth period, as they kind of build up for fall, because there's a lot of things that are happening all the way around that you're doing in the bee yard. You might not be able to assess every single colony. So you're making kind of just blanket assessments overall. But what happens if you're in these colonies, and depending on your management and what your goals are in the bee yard, you might not be talking about 100 honey production hives. You might be talking about 40 honey production hives, 30 queen mating boxes, a handful of nukes. So they're all going to be at different speeds. Some of these even larger colonies might be at a little bit of a brood interruption, and you might check them today and they're at 0 and 1, and you come back in that next mite life cycle and they may be out of control because they were there, but they just hadn't hatched yet. They weren't there for you to actually see that picture. So you can see with 100 colonies, you might be looking at completely different life cycles of mites and the bees, and that gets to be pretty challenging. For me, when I see numbers that high, I don't play around. I go through and I assume if they're not at that point now, they will be. And so I try to do what I can to knock those down.
Brian, I know you have some prizes you want to give away, but I did want to mention, I went out, and the particular method I use, it is a on my pollination hives. You can tell by looking at the treatments if there's been a mite drop. You can tell kind of by the way I kind of have them set up a little bit, and the ones I looked at when I was kind of checking them, the ones that had 0 mites on the treatment that I use, had 0 mites in the washes. The ones where I saw some mites on the treatment still had mites in the colonies. And so it's just frustrating to me that you have some bees that are clean and some that aren't. And it's really hard to tell, what to do. So I'm considering going back in and using ApiGuard here, and it'll just maybe in a few weeks going to and it's one particular spot. It seems like my production colonies are doing really well. You saw how strong they are, Greg, when you were down here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the yards you went to were just a snapshot of what all my production colonies pretty much are doing. The pollination bees have been the ones that really struggled. And I just wonder if something about them going out west, it's just bizarre how they both bee yards. So theoretically, I was thinking I would bring those bees back, split the original colonies, the donor colonies, take the new colonies out, put the new queens in and mated queens, and they would be super strong in Midland City. They're on the cotton. And I was thinking donor colonies would be the ones to crash and maybe lose some because of queen age, because a lot of those queens were maybe a little bit older. But what I found is almost the exact amount of loss in both locations. Like I think I started with 48 in each spot, and now I think I've got 35 or 36 in each spot. And so I haven't seen a big difference. And the ones that are strong in both locations are strong. I mean, just boiling with bees. So it's just kind of a little bit of a mystery to me that my production colonies that stayed home, for the most part, they're doing well. They're probably doing better than they ever have. But the pollination bees are, the bees on pallets that I've moved around a little bit are the ones that kind of struggle. So anyway, it's just a mystery. It's beekeeping, and it's been a little bit. I've been trying to pick people's brains, my mentors. I've talked to them a little bit about it, and the way they avoid it is they split like crazy. They just split and split and split because they're not really geared towards making a lot of honey. So they keep the colonies small. They introduce new queens all year long, and they just keep them, they're geared towards bee production mostly and pollination production. And so they try to keep them in a single deep or a deep and a medium. They never really let those colonies get really big. They don't focus. I mean, they do on a few of them, but their main focus is splitting bees, making bees. And by doing that, you keep a young queen in there, and you're always breaking the brood cycle up. They do treat for mites as well, but they just kind of plow right through it. They do have some loss, but they just chalk it up to maybe a weak queen and they just move on. And so it's just interesting, and it's a little frustrating.
What's
but
that
it's just
common
part of it.
denominator, Bruce? Because it sounds like you're losing 30, almost 40% of your
Well,
pollination colonies.
From 48 to 36, so 12, so 24 out of 96.
24.
20,
Okay.
25, say
25%.
So
between
let's
20
say a
and
quarter.
25%.
Do you
I don't know.
on those colonies? If you look at the comb, is that all new comb, or is it possible that they've got into something out there with the fogging and everything else, that there might be something in the wax that is causing long-term but a slow death for those bees that are
I don't
causing them to
know.
struggle?
It's not all new comb. A lot of it is. I mean, because when I make splits, of course, I put new foundation and stuff in them as I make the splits.
But the ones
But
that,
I mean, I just can't replace all my comb. I got to kind of gradually work at that, as I think we all do. But I mean, it's possible. I'm not ruling anything out, and I don't look at this as a catastrophic loss. To me, catastrophic could be like last year, where I lost pretty much close to 50% of my colonies, and that's not happening this year. And it hasn't been hive beetle slimes. It's been more just kind of a slow decrease in population. And then I don't know if it's an abscond or the bees just leave or what, but there's not bees in the colonies. It's not like they're all dying in there from poisoning. They
is
just
it a
kind of
failure to
gradually weaken.
thrive? Is it a
That's what
failure
it
to
seems
thrive?
like. But then some of them are just boiling and super strong in the same location, have been through the same situation. Some of the bees are super, super, almost just unbelievably strong. So it's bizarre. It's not like it's consistent in the bee yards. It's not like it's,
So
all the
odd.
colonies are looking weak or anemic. It's just some of them. I expected it, like I said, in the donor colonies, because some of those had old queens, and I expected them to fizzle out. But
Look at that.
I think it would warrant sending a frame off.
There he is.
The
There's
wax
Brian.
and some bees, sending them off just to see what you come back with. Because if you keep sustaining 25% or 20% losses as they come back and they've got a failure to thrive, why is that? What's going on? And if there is something systemic in the colony, that would kind of be worthwhile to know.
I will say, and once again, Brian, I know we're trying to get to the giveaways, but
That's okay.
but I did talk to Jose about this. I think we discussed it maybe a little bit last week in the chat, and he did mention that there is when you take them out there where there are thousands, literally thousands and thousands of colonies, if not millions of colonies, you're just trading mites around. There's a big mite bomb, just because bees don't stay in their own orchard. They travel, they go to different places.
Yep.
And so, I just wonder theoretically if we just have some mite issues. I will also, this is something I need to add to this equation. I did not treat these bees when they came back because I just didn't have time. I didn't think I had time. And so, I might just be fighting a mite issue, might be a big part of it as well. So that very well could be it. And that the Midland City bees that are out there on cotton are having the biggest mite problem right now. See, I've never assessed mites like this before. I've done a couple of washes here or there, but I've never really gotten serious about it. So I'm learning some things this year that are kind of making me scratch my head a little bit, but it may have been like this all along. All these years I might have had these similar issues, but just didn't check. I would always just treat for mites with whatever treatment and just say, well, I've treated, that's good. And say my bees are clean. I don't see mites in the drone brood.
Right.
Where what I'm finding is, whether or not I see them in the drone brood, I think if you see a lot of mites in your drone brood, you have an incredibly high infestation. You got to get on it, because some of these colonies that are washing, I'm not seeing a lot of mites in the drone brood or in the brood period. And so I'm learning some things, and really through your example and just from learning from Cayman and everybody, I've just decided this year I'm going to do more evaluation. And it's showing me some things. And so that's why it's important to do it, I believe. But Brian, why don't we give something away, man?
I know we haven't in a little while.
It's been a while since we've done a fun giveaway chat.
I know.
And we got to do it tonight, man. 3,000 subscribers. Once again,
that's a big deal, Brian.
Brian has surpassed the 3,000 subscriber mark, and it's a really cool thing. And we've noticed over the past several months of doing this that right about now in the chat, within the hour, between the 1 and 2 hour mark, is when we have the most people on here. So
I know
it's time to spin the wheel or pick a prize, however we're going to do it now.
Yeah. I do want to put that up right there. Bob got his
Bob.
2K.
Congrats, Bob, man.
That's awesome.
That's a big deal. That's a big
deal.
Wait. He works. Oh, he's one away. Somebody on this chat, go in there and subscribe to Bob's channel at Walker Bee Ranch so you can get 2,000.
I put his link, and we'll get to the giveaway. I'll say what the giveaway is going to be, but I put his link there. I know everybody knows Bob, so just support him.
He works
That's
hard at it, guys. He works real
he
hard at it.
does. I mean, he puts in countless hours, here
He
on
might
YouTube.
he might
So
be the only person that I know that loves doing lives more than you do, Brian.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know whether he loves it or he just, I don't know.
Well, and I'm just joking, Bob. I mean, he explains why he does that. He's explained it many times on his channel why he does that, and he's got his reasons, and he does a good job with it. And I think biggest, and Bob, if I'm telling this wrong, I think he just wants people to see the raw footage of what's going on.
That's
and
it.
he just, and that when you're going live, that's what happens. It's raw. I mean, you can't.
Yep.
I guess he said, he clarifies. He says he's too lazy to edit, but I think it's also he likes people to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Live. Well, somebody said they just subscribed. So Bob, are we at 2,000 now?
He should be. He's
the one that's got the updated version.
Hey, Roy Adams. Hey, Roy. He's one of our newbies
on there now.
Hey, Roy. Looks like if Roy says Bob's at 2K, Bob's at 2K.
Yeah. Look at that.
Walker, 2004, 5 subscribers. I mean,
way to go, Bob.
I appreciate it.
Brian, you are a major influencer, man, with this chat.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So what we have here is Hilco has provided me with 2 codes. One of them is $100 code, and then the other is a $50 code. So I'm going to do the old,
or is that like a gift certificate?
It's $100 off,
nice.
And then it's a $50 off a product. So, now's the time of year where, we're getting late into the season, but people might be looking at, treatments or things for the winter or whatever it might be. So wax melters, anything like that. So, but John, I mean, he's supported us, and he reached out and told me, hey, here's these 2 codes to celebrate your 3K. So I appreciate that. So let me hit and everybody just throw in some comments, because the winner, the Nightbot code that we do, it's not a wheel. Maybe we're gonna have to go back. We got to do another giveaway with a wheel.
I like the wheel, Brian.
I know. Then you get fireworks and all that stuff. So when I get home, we'll do a giveaway with the wheel.
That's
so. But yeah, just throw in some comments in there, and I'll hit it, and it'll pick it out. I'll need to verify, look at that 3K off. Ooh, that'd be nice. When I get 1 million subscribers, we'll do that.
Right. Well, Brian, there is a bunch of Ohio folks in here tonight. A bunch of Ohio.
It's amazing. We started talking about the giveaway. We quit talking about mites and starting the count on here watching went up like 15 points.
Yeah.
15 more people are watching it.
It's like an algorithm. The word giveaway, it just.
Yep. Giveaway. All right. I'm going to hit it here. I think this will be the first one for 100. Now I'll need to verify your email. So if it's somebody that we know, I mean, I know I have a couple people's phone numbers and that, and, Bruce knows how to get a hold of people. Greg does, but we'll just need to verify who you are. That way, we're giving the code to the correct person. So let's see who the first one is. Let's see. I hit it. We'll see if Nightbot works. Man, and the winner is, look at that, Power to You. He won something before from us.
Oh, that's the one that Randy was talking about with the smoker. Is that who that was?
In Canada. Power to You. I know you have my email, and I've got it also because he got the smoker from Randy. Yes. Yep. And if you haven't gotten that smoker, I sent your info again to Randy, and he was going to get it sent out. He messaged me the other day and said his wife walked up to him and said, "Weren't you supposed to do something with that smoker?" And he texted me and said, Did I give away a smoker? So yeah, so you'll be getting a smoker, and then I'll it's still in the mail, right? And then I'll make sure you get this code. So let's do another one. Let's do what, $50?
Do
I
it
like it.
50. And Brian,
50.
I sent you a text. We have a bunch of Ohio folks in here. All our team Hilco. We've got so many of those, including we've got where they go there. Joy and Brian Walkinspaw. Mr. I had a visitor came, one of the Hilco winner. There he is, Matt Forgy and his son.
Oh, he came by.
They
That's
stopped by the
awesome.
farm. And they bought
Really?
another extractor. So now they've got 2 mini maxes, and he's setting up a kind of a double extractor kind of setup. We've got Tim from Southwest Honeybees is in here. Of course, DJ Barracuda, Drop Tine Buck. We've got my buddy Roy is in here. There's just, it's so cool to see all the folks that we see and talk to on a regular basis here in the comments. I know I'm probably missing some, but Randy from Trails Inn, he's in here. There's so many cool folks. It's just neat. That's one of the neat things, Brian, about the stream team and with the YouTube channels is you've got it's bringing everything together in this weird new collaborative where online meets real face to face. It's super cool.
Yeah. Do you see that there, Phil?
Phil,
He is
33-mile bees.
he's up there in that state, Michigan. We can't pronounce it.
Meat
you know,
chicken.
that whole,
Meat chicken.
right. Yeah. Phil, congrats, man. That's awesome. Yeah. He's real close to us. He's got to we got to arrange to meet up with him sometime. So, but
Yep.
we got, I know somebody might need also what is there, 10 assembled Premier frames with their foundation. So a pack of frames and foundation.
You could say those frames really help to promote foundationally better beekeeping. See what I did there?
Bruce, did you see what he did?
Bruce is rolling his eyes. He's done. He's like, guys, what time
he's
is
a
it?
genius.
No.
I was just sitting here marveling at the genius behind that statement. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. And Bruce, really what he's thinking right now, Greg, is, oh boy, they started out this way, and all of a sudden, when you get them, when they stop talking about bees, the wheels start turning, and then stuff happens.
I mean, y'all look at the number of people watching. We're up like 15 to 20 just in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Let's do,
I'm not sure it was the giveaways. I think it was the bee. They knew they could sense the bee puns were coming. Isn't that right, Brian?
That was it.
Well, it's like bee dad jokes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like bee dad jokes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see.
I can't think of any right now.
Let's see. Look at that. The winner, it's Gene. It showed over there. And the winner is
me and Eugene Nelson. I like this, right? But without hearing the wheel and the clickety clackities and it going around and then slowing down and you're looking and seeing and you're going and it's almost there.
I know.
I think it's time
the next giveaway is going to be with the wheel. So yeah, I know how to get in touch with Gene. 10 assembled and then the foundation from Premier. So I got to thank Matt for that. He's emailed me, and we all know Premier Foundation. So I use it in my yard. Greg, you sell it. I've bought it from you.
Yep.
So Bruce, you had what, a pallet of Premier Foundation?
Yeah, I ordered a pallet of it. Good stuff. I like it.
Yeah.
Greg saw how the bees down. What's that?
Go ahead, Bruce.
Greg saw how the bees are doing with it down here. So they're doing good with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Greg, I got a question. Do you order the triple waxed or do you order the extra heavy wax?
I ordered the double, which is extra heavy.
Extra heavy.
That same thing. I usually try to order 2 pallets and then get that assembled frames with the foundation, and it just makes life beautiful when you can just go boom and snag, put them into a box and keep moving. So that's the thing about it is if we, we want to support Jeff and Matt and the whole crew at Premier. But at the end of the day, that only goes so far. If the bees wouldn't work the foundation, if it was at a price point we couldn't afford, no matter how much we like the guys, we couldn't be in a position to financially buy it if it didn't make sense. There's a lot of options out there for foundation, for frames, and everything else. But when we give the bees the choice, and the bees are choosing Premier, that was enough. That's what I needed to see, and I feel good about supporting that kind of a business, and especially when the bees are choosing it, they're kind of doing the hard work for me.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Hey, Greg, you mentioned that you sold that Matt bought another extractor when he came to visit you. Do you sell the extractors at your place with Nature's Image Farm?
well, thanks, Bruce. Thanks for the question there. So there, Hilco is in a look at Brian laughing. Hilco is there. John is phenomenal. They are so great to work with, and we're very gracious by giving us an opportunity to kind of create a group buy for our folks.
Okay.
Because we have worked with John so much in the past, and with all the folks that we have coming in the shop, we wanted to be able to put them in touch with a good quality extractor, but also put them in touch with a company that is just good folks. And so, yes, Bruce, we are working with Hilco for that group buy, and it was a great opportunity for our folks. Greg, do we ship buckets? We do ship buckets. Shipping on things like buckets are usually cost prohibitive for the end user. However, if you're interested in bucket feeders, plugs, and there's a bunch of other things getting ready to come online onto our website, you can go to naturesimagefarm.com, check that out. If you want to maybe have some of those things shipped, like buckets, which aren't, you can't just have buckets shipped from the website, but feeder plugs and things like that, you can. Just shoot us an email, naturesimagefarm@gmail.com. Let us know what you're looking for. The plugs and things like that, we do ship to Canada and the United States too. We've got some new things coming on now. We haven't really promoted and talked about it yet, but the queens and nukes for next spring are open and available. And I don't know. This is not like a pressure buy. It's not like do it now or you're not going to. But we got overrun so fast in October, November, December on orders. We kind of just loosely let the kind of opened up the order process. Some more folks can maybe have an opportunity to get some of those bees. So a lot of cool stuff coming on in the future. We're buckling down, trying to get a lot more podcasts out to the Contrary Beekeeper Show podcast, and also videos over on our YouTube channel, Nature's Image Farm, including one we just kind of put out today. So looking forward to just continue to share what we're doing here at the farm.
Hey, Greg, I like that format from your video today where you just had someone film you teaching your folks at your at the learning yard. And so I kind of like to see you do more of that, where you just teach a technique like that and just have someone film it and just throw it up there, man. That was some good stuff.
I appreciate everyone watching. It's one of those things where, oh, go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was just going to say, Greg, what you did, or Bruce, what you did right there is you got me out of work. Because when I go down and I visit Greg on the learning yard days, I always try and I'm around there and like this with my camera. I basically just heard that Nature's Image Farm does a heck of a better job than what I do with putting.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying.
No. I'm fine hearing that. I can go down there now and sit back in the chair like
pressure.
DJ Barracuda does.
See?
And absolutely no pressure. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I can just relax and I can I can watch them do their thing. So,
Well, it's an
Yeah.
interesting thing because we, for folks who don't know, the learning yard is a hands-on learning opportunity here at our farm here in Hopewell, Ohio. It's a way that we can support folks who buy nukes and packages. It's free for them. It's just an added perk for them, and it's also free for our local military veterans. No purchase required. It's a way that we can support not only the education part, but we take that right out to the bee yard and bring those things together, and we see exactly what's going on in those colonies. And we work through those colonies together. We make those choices. That's why when the storm came through, yeah, it was devastating to have 50 of our colonies completely just drowned and wiped out, it seemed. But we know how to make bees. We can rebuild. When it hit the learning yard, these colonies that we've all worked together and saw from the very beginning and built all the way up, that's when it was a little bit more heartbreaking.
yeah.
But these are the things that happen with the learning yard. It's a learning opportunity. And so we get together and we're going to work through it and figure out the plan moving forward. We wanted to be able to share what we're doing at the learning yard, but those videos are like 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour long. And those aren't videos that we necessarily want to put out to the regular feed. So we just recently started kind of our own little membership program, similar to what Ian is doing. Not that we are at the beekeeping level of Ian or the subscriber level, but we have a lot of videos from the learning yard where we're kind of digging into the nuts and bolts of a lot of these things. And we want to be able to share that content with folks. So you might have noticed today we had the hive beetle murder sauce video came out, and that is a 15-minute video that's taken from the fuller like 35-minute video.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And in that full 35-minute video, we're talking about a lot of other approaches and things that we're doing, and a lot more discussions about pests and hive beetles. So those videos there, those longer formats are kind of reserved for the membership side of our YouTube channel at Nature's Image Farm. But we still want to provide some of that same content for folks, so they don't think, well, great, they're just providing information behind a paywall. No, it's not like that at all. We're still going to put that information out. It's just in a little bit smaller, digestible bites. So if folks
Sure.
are interested in supporting the farm and the things that we're trying to do here, a simple way to do it is it's $4.99. You can or join as a member. It helps us literally keep the lights on and put this content out. And we've got a lot more opportunities coming out for shop buys, alerts on when queens are ready, specials, things like that are going to kind of go through that avenue, so we can just keep providing value for folks. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can go to the About tab on our channel. You can go into our video links now and see where you can join. And if you have any questions on what that looks like, you can shoot us an email at nature'simagefarm@gmail.com.
I like that approach. I like the small clips for the public and then the more detailed videos for the members. I like that approach. Good stuff, man.
Greg, what was the question there? Will you be having the learning yard October 22nd? I think we're kind of the very first weekend in October is very likely going to be our last probably official learning yard, but we will be doing them maybe one more time in October, in November, so we can be here in a support role for our folks as they're getting ready for winter, as they're getting into their winter configuration. So we will still be here. We'll still be here to support folks, but it won't be the every other week learning yard like we have been doing. The store will be still open on the weekends and things like that, but it's also a time for us to start to rein in all the farm projects and also get the farm ready for wintertime too.
Hey, somebody asked there about, Roy asked, how do we get into the membership stuff? If you look at Greg's page, and you can see I'm already a member there, but when you go to his page, you'll see a join feature, and then it will go down and it gives you the details, about the membership, what he offers, the cost, different things like that. So
if you're on a mobile, if you're on like the mobile YouTube, if you go to the About, if you say like click on this channel and then you go to About, you'll see the links in there. What I didn't realize is that it looks different on your mobile versus desktop. Desktop, you can see a lot of information much faster, but what we tried to do now is put those join links are in the video, and it just clearly says if you're interested in joining here. So it's not a pressure. We're not trying squeeze nickels out of people. It's just a way that we can provide some extra value for folks who are interested in kind of seeing more of the behind the scenes on this, larger sideline scale business farm kind of approach as we kind of move forward to help mentor folks and see them off to a good start.
If I come down then and I film your film crew,
cool.
Is that like a higher level of a membership then? Because I would be filming the filming of.
It would be a video of a video in a video format. So I think that is going to just supersede all membership restraints, and that'll go straight to the Castle Hives channel. So folks really want to see the Castle Hives, Hives filter of the Learning Yard. They can actually go right now to the Castle Hives YouTube channel and see several from the Learning Yard, including see Greg get stung in the face, see his wife give him the scold and say you're sleeping on the couch for putting a package of bees in this top bar hive that she hopes dies and crashes and burns, which, Brian, wait till you see that top bar hive.
I want to bring that up. I do want to bring that up. I think September 17th is the next Learning Yard, correct?
Not this Saturday, but the weekend following.
Yep. I think I might be able to make it down.
Okay.
So, if so, and everybody can hear it, well, I mean, it's just us on here, as Fred Dunn has said it, just us, so nobody else will. Yeah, nobody else is hearing this. If that's the case, we'll get a nice detailed inspection of a top bar hive on video.
Oh, nice. Hey, sounds good. I can't believe that Hive is doing so good. I just would have never thought that. It's fun thing about beekeeping. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you humbled. It keeps you always digging in and just moving forward. And I think that's why so many of us are just drawn. Are you ready, Bruce? To those bugs in a box.
Those bugs in a box.
Bruce, what am I looking at here?
I'll go to the other picture first. So this is a little odd. And Sarah from, I think it's Sarah's Happy Hives.
No, it's a movie.
She sent me, does it work? Can you get it to pull up? She sent me a question. Let me see if I can find it here.
It's a
and
movie.
It's kind of a, let's see, where is it? Do you have the question there, Brian?
Yeah, let me see here. No.
Anyway, Sarah, and first of all, more importantly, before we do this, Sarah's father, I believe it is extremely ill, very sick. And she asked us to, kind of, last week I was going to do it and we kind of got sidetracked a little bit, but if we could just kind of keep that, then your thoughts, and prayers, if you want to for Sarah. She is participating. I think she was on here earlier. She may have checked out of the stream, but so she's been spending some time at the hospital, I think, with her father. And she's last week I had asked her if she wanted to do a video question. That's when I found out about her dad. And then today she actually sent this question. Let's see.
So I see it here. It says, "Hi, Bruce. I do have a question for you, but unsure, about the video format. Nurse practitioner on my dad's case at the hospital is also a beekeeper, and we hit it off immediately, of course. That's how beekeepers are. We're all friendly people. We got to talking about her hive, and she told me she's had holes appear in her hives that she did not put there. And to her knowledge, no one else did either. She asked some beekeepers on the Book of Faces, that's hilarious, but got no real answers. It's not a gunshot, as someone suggested. The video's from June. Now, I would have to download the video. This was recently, and there's holes. Only thing I can think of is wood borer or carpenter bee, maybe a woodpecker.
So yeah, the original one is basically a very similar picture with no holes in it. And then she put this one on here, and you can see holes perfectly underneath the handle in 2 different spots the bees are using. You can actually see it is a video too, Brian. The bees are using it there.
Yeah.
So anyway,
What's the other side of the box look like?
I don't know. That's the picture she sent, but the original picture was that exact same, looked like the same hive with no holes in it. So, you know, I don't have any idea. To me, it almost looks like someone just took a drill and drilled those holes. You know, they're almost perfectly round.
Yeah.
But she said the beekeeper said that no one had done that, and they were in a kind of an isolated area where there wouldn't be anybody. So that was her question. It's kind of a strange thing to happen. I don't know if you guys have any theories on that. You can see on the bottom hole where the bees have been working and coming in and out, wearing the paint off of there. So that hole looks like it's been there a while. But anyway, that was a question she had. She was just kind of curious, and she said she'd toss the question to us. So
here, let me throw
you guys have any theories on that? Any
I mean, that is if you're looking at the size of the bees, where you're literally looks like could get, if you wadded the bees up like a straws, you would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bees in there. And if bees need a 3/8 space and they're working on
about a 3/4 inch hole, maybe
that's about a 3/4.
so.
I mean, that is a massive, if that would be a very big caliber. If that's an entry, if it's an exit, maybe it could be something different. If it was a wood boring bee, I mean, what's the chances of a wood boring bee being not ran off by the bees sitting there chewing and making a mess?
Yeah.
The other thing is they're both perfectly spaced, like right in the middle of the box, right underneath the handle. So I just have to believe that someone came in there, either target practice with a bullet or someone came by with a drill and just drilled some holes in there that the beekeeper was not aware of. Very well could have been bullet holes, but I don't know. That's just our theory.
Yeah.
And I told Sarah I'd toss it forward and we would see if we wanted to address
Have
that.
Sarah get a photo of the other side of the hive, the back side. And if we've got holes in the back side, well, okay, now we're talking about something else going on. And then look at the frames on the inside. Do the frames also have some entries and some damage from a bullet? If not, and they're both clear, then look at the hole and look at the hole. If it looks dusty and powdery and kind of chewed up, now we're getting into insects. Now, what you can have is powder post beetles and things that do get into wood that can eat the wood from the inside out, or they could have eaten it from, they could have gotten in there through some of those cell structures and then work their way out. But to have both of those in the same spot of the box, man, you would have to have fronts of the boxes, unless somebody milled them themselves and those were mirror cuts off the same part of the log. I don't think so.
That's a great idea to have them, you know, look at the back of the hive as well. And anyway, like I say, it's a clinician at the hospital where her dad is and that had that issue. Fuzzy World says woodpecker. I mean, I guess that's possible. Those holes are just, they look like they're perfectly round. They look like they're a little bigger than a woodpecker to me, but
it's like I don't know. Half-inch drill bit. Yeah, 3/4 inch.
About a half, 3/4 inch. Yeah.
What kind of knucklehead would be doing that? If it wasn't the beekeeper, good luck. It was some knucklehead neighbor with a 3/4 inch paddle bit or drill bit in there trying to fool around with your hives. I mean, that is a special kind of stupid.
It's bizarre. 33 Mile Bees says, this is like working a crime scene.
Yeah. We need to do that. Have these random photos and we'll try and decipher what is the issue here.
I just thought, you know what it very likely is? I would almost bet 3 donuts. It is very likely damage from the North American short-tailed shrew. I don't know why I didn't think of that until now.
We should bring Fred in on this. We should
definitely bring Fred in for some forensics. He is the forensics expert when it does come to small mammal biology.
Hey, I see a comment on here, Greg, I think would be good to address. Rick Morse talking about treating. He says he just treats without doing a mite check. I did that for years.
Yep, me too.
Why do you think what's the purpose of doing the mite check?
Well, we kind of covered that a little bit earlier, is we might have some hives that might be at, let's say, different rates of infestation. And well, why does that matter? Well, a lot of folks, I'm going to leave those out, have lost hundreds, not thousands of columns just by putting X brand of product in, and because it always worked. It always works until it doesn't, or there's an unknown variable and the bees end up getting ate up with viruses. So not that to say you couldn't just go in there and treat, but how do you know the base? How do you know what the condition of the colony is before you treat? is important, but also it's really important to know where they are in comparison to that after you treat. Are the mites going up? Are they only staying static? Or like Bruce has seen recently with the Zapivar, it only knocked them down in half, which is still good, right? But if Bruce would have just put his Zapivar strips in and called it good, he still has a threshold that is just under the actionable threshold for most of us. If he wouldn't have known that and just let that cruise, those jokers, as Bruce would say, could go from 1.8 or 2% to 4 to 6 to 8 by the end of the year, and maybe not even make it into the spring. So by monitoring where we're at, it lets us know where we are to start. We do our treatment, and then we use a follow-up to see how effective was the treatment, because it gives us time to course correct and to make sure that our approach is actually effective.
And
That's just my 2 cents.
that also helps me realize that, just say, for example, in one spot at Honey Hill Farm, I had 5 colonies there. I managed those colonies for a friend. There were 5 colonies. I washed one total mite in 5 colonies after using Apivar. Went down to Slocum, and that one colony went from 16 to 5, or from between 15 and 20 to 5. So we got them down below threshold, knocked them out at least 2/3, but there's still 5 mites in there. My backyard, I washed a total of 3 mites out of 7 colonies. 6 of the 7 were 0, and one of them had 3. So it gives you the opportunity to see, hey, is it working, and to really identify those colonies that are having issues. Even though it was successful, I would consider it successful. Maybe I need to keep an eye on particularly those colonies that have extra mites in there. And so that's the advantage of it. And like I said, I did it for years. I did try different things, and I figured it was working. And I've gotten a lot of bees through the winter every year. But I really think that I'm losing some of those pollination bees because I did not treat when they got back from pollination. And I think they just brought some mites back with them, and I'm having some issues. And I don't know if I'm having possibly some issues with the bees being with the mites being resistant to some of the treatments, because the mites may have come from not here, if that makes sense. And so that's why it's important to check. I mean, like you say, if the treatment works, it's no big deal, but how do you know if it's really working? I was about to call Bruce and remember his YouTube day. Hey, Yappy. Yeah, it is stream team day.
Bruce, one thing I just want to go ahead, Brian.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to just a real quick little add on to what you said there, Bruce, is all of these approaches and concepts and methods are based on the fact that we assume that the mites that we are seeing in the colonies are transmitting viruses to the bees. But just as we had Humberto on earlier in the year, they're finding that, yes, we don't know to the extent of it yet, but there's viruses being transferred via small hive beetle versus nectar and pollen sources out in the field. There's a lot of things that are kind of going on there. Well, why does that matter? We're assuming, and we do these things to knock down mites, to get rid of viruses. But if we get too stubborn and with our approach, and we're not open-minded, you might be in a position to where we figure out some things about bees while we're still in the stubborn phase, and we haven't adapted or been open-minded enough to try something different. What a lot of folks are seeing is, while we can't be doing the same thing every year, not the treatment per se, but there's information out there that suggests that the viral loads are changing, and what these viruses actually look like, how they're replicating, and how it affects the bees are rapidly changing. That's the problem. It feels like barely have a grip on keeping the mites down to keep the viral loads down. It almost seems like we have no idea about how these viral loads are changing and what that actually means for overall colony health. Bruce could be right on the cutting edge of a new virus that, yes, is transmitted or something is changed and adapts because of their location or what they're getting into on top of the virus, that has these long-term failure to thrive situations that, if he's not monitoring and checking, he doesn't know why they're going downhill. So there's a lot we don't know.
No. So the one point that I want to, yeah, Bruce, sure. text him. If so, then I'll send the link. The one thing that I want to bring up, so, and actually Mike Berry commented on this. I had said about, we were just talking about treatments, and he said, well, the regiment that, a lot of people, they do Apivar and OA. And Mike had said, until there's a degree of resistance, or if you look at a lot of packages when you buy these treatments, what will you find on any of these treatments? What do you find on them? When you buy a product, a chemical, whatever it might be, what is on those?
Oh, a label?
Well, there's a label, and on
Is
that
there
label,
instructions? Is there words?
there's instructions, and you have like an expiration date, but there's also lot numbers. What's the purpose of those lot numbers? So when you treat,
tracking,
if you do not check your mite levels, and I talked to someone before that had this happen, and they actually contacted the company, and the company went back and looked at the lot number, because the situation ended up that it wasn't the Apivar, it was that the guy had another beekeeper in the area that was organic and was just throwing out mite bombs like crazy. So after investigating, Apivar had looked at the lot number just to see if, well, was there an issue? Where was that testing at? Do we need to look at that lot? Do we need to recall? So I think part of staying on top of the mites also helps out the companies as well. Are those treatments effective? Did something change in the formula? So it's just all kind of plays those important pieces in the puzzle. But like me last year, had I just treated and I didn't do my washes, I had actually higher mite counts after I did my round of oxalic, in the late summer last year. And then I threw in the formic on them just to hit them with that late treatment. But had I not done those washes, I would not have known, and I would have just assumed that oxalic acid was this miracle cure. And like I did before, and I lost every colony. So it is important, to treat, but it's also important to monitor those mite levels,
Yeah, good
Bruce,
point.
It's all important. So are we going to have a sighting here in a little bit?
Possibly.
Oh man,
leave it to Yappy to get, or leave it to this unknown individual to get on 5 minutes before our 10 o'clock cutoff to go on for another hour and 30 minutes. And I'm looking forward to it because he hasn't graced with his presence, and it's been a long time.
It's been a little while. Yeah.
What kind of haircut do you guys think he has? Do you still have the long haircut in the back now? Did he go for a buzz? I mean, or maybe it's a mullet, one of those Alabama mullets.
I was looking at it, I just thought, I'm like, you know what? He's done with us. He's done with the stream team. He came on. He's like, you know what?
He has a new love, just so you know. It's on 2 wheels. Probably has a 2 1/4 inch axle. It's this big black piece of steel that just turns meat into magic. So he's left us for barbecue. That's what's really going on with the Yappy. He knows it. We know it. Yes. We're not mad. We're just jealous.
We're not angry.
Well, envious for sure.
We'll see him at the next conference, and instead of him walking around with that camera set up with 6 cameras and 12 mics and stuff hanging off of it, he'll have the whole production crew and people.
He'll be in the parking lot. He'll be selling black market ribs and everything. He'll just be grilling, just making money, making cash in the parking lot. Yappy's barbecue stand.
Cash dollar.
There he is. There he is.
Yappy short hair. Oh my!
There we go.
At that.
What?
Look at that.
How's the audio? Can you hear me?
We got you.
Okay, cool.
I don't know who you are. You're Yappy short hair.
He's got a haircut.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got to keep it out of the ribs. He's got to keep it out of the brisket. Smooth. I see what he did there.
And I tell you, the only thing that I ain't cooked yet is a brisket. The brisket scares me, man. It's like way too many steps to get it right.
Don't be afraid of the brisket. I was exactly like you. And then I went to a meeting and I told everyone, yeah, I'm a barbecue addict. I accepted it. And
Wow.
they laid that challenge out there. I followed the steps and I produced the product.
Yeah, but if you've seen what briskets cost these days, I mean, yeah, money and yappy don't spell the same thing. It's like, they don't even start with the same letter.
Slap your yappy barbecue.
That is a
Slap yo
restaurant
yappy barbecue.
That is
That's
a
what I'm talking
restaurant
about.
right there.
Does Yappy go for a mustard sauce, or does he go for like what's the choice sauce for Yappy?
Let's see.
Other than no sauce required, I should say that obviously no sauce required. But if you were going to use a sauce,
the sweet sauce I go with is what is it? Sweet Baby Ray's or something like that. It's pretty popular in the state. And then we've got one of the older sauces in the state with a history called Dreamland. Dreamland Barbecue is a place that was down in Tuscaloosa that's been there forever, and that's kind of where they got their name, kind of along with the whole Alabama football team thing. But Dreamland Barbecue, when it used to be the old man that started it and kept it going forever, was classic. It's kind of died off, and I think they commercialized a little bit too much. Took a lot away from it, but it don't matter what sauce I use. It's a matter of how I mix it to be my own that I won't tell you about. But I can. I had a little bit here and there. I'll tell you this. I picked this up from a pretty good pit master. That after you take and you get your butts done up in the oven for a little while, and you get that fat juice that comes out. There's just a certain amount of that fat juice that you got to add back into your sauce and get it mixed all up in there with a few extra add to it. And I never thought of that, didn't know it until here not long ago, and I upped my game a little bit. I upped it.
Nice. That sounds good. Brian, we're kind of in luck because in the comments here, our local buddy John Lawler, he says his burnt ends are life-changing. So I'm going to challenge John to put his money where his mouth is there.
Okay.
I mean, burnt ends or it didn't happen. That's what I'm thinking next learning yard.
So are you saying that September 17th, that could possibly be like a burnt ends top bar hive inspection?
Barbecue extravaganza?
Barbecue
I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
If only we had Yappy's secret barbecue sauce recipe just to really take it to the next level.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to bring it. He needs to bring it up there. Bring some of the sauce up there.
Yeah, it's on wheels, man. There's no excuse.
If he goes up, I might even join him. That'd be fine, wouldn't it, Yappy?
So wait. Now I'm late to the show, dude. So what's September 17th? Because that's the same weekend for the Alabama beekeepers thing. Is that what we're talking about, or you got something different going on?
We're just shooting off the cuff. It's just learning yards every other weekend, and so Brian's it's what we call function stacking. He's stacking in learning yard, visit, video, barbecue. See all those things in one. He's thinking.
Learning yard up at Greg's place. Yeah,
gonna have to be next month and I'm telling you, if Bruce don't show up to the Clanton deal, I'm gonna be upset.
Well, you know how Bruce gets sometimes, Yappy. You know how he gets.
Well, I mean, now that he's famous and everything.
Right.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm a drop in the bucket, literally, of what you got going on, man.
Shoot. No,
you're the famous one. The most famous beekeeping YouTube on the planet, right there. YouTuber on the planet.
See? Right there. Look at him.
Right here.
Right there.
And he's willing to join us.
No. Stop. No. Stop. Is that how that goes?
You're a little fan. You can take a little fan.
Yeah, right. Because talking to the guy who's sitting in the front seat of his truck holding his phone to be on the dang live stream with the famous people. Yeah. I'm rolling in it, baby. Rolling in it.
We haven't seen you for a while, Yappy. What's new in Yappy land?
barbecue. Man, things have slowed down. Things have slowed down pretty good this year, as far as removals. Did one about a week ago. Got a phone call from a. This is funny. Lady calls me that knew me from bees that her sister cut down a big oak tree at a rental house that actually isn't too far from me. And I was still trying to put the math together on, and not that women can't do this by no means, but when I got there and then I was thinking, woman cut down tree, and then this thing's about as big around as my truck. She impressed me on that one. But when the tree went over, it cracked open a limb that was about as big as round as me and Brian holding hands trying to hug a tree limb. And man, the dang thing was packed full of bees. I mean,
Wow.
packed full of bees. So I threw the ladder up, had the generator in the bee vac, and we went through and just vacuum bees, tossed comb, vacuum bees, tossed comb. Still caught the queen by hand. In
Nice.
all that mess, still caught the queen by hand. So
legendary, always.
But
legend.
yeah, I mean, it was a colossal mess. I ain't gonna lie. People don't understand, your comb is in that whole vertical scenario, but when it lays over in a tree, when a tree comes down, the combs will collapse on each other.
Mm-hmm.
All you can do is pray that the queen somehow got out in between those combs and she didn't get squished in there and she's dead by the time you get there. But it doesn't take any time at all. No time at all for hive beetles to get that smell in there. It's like they're in a hive beetle congregation area or something, just waiting for something to happen. But they had cut that tree down that morning. And by the time I got there, it was probably 3:00 in the afternoon. And it was already covered up in hive beetles. The comb itself was already sweating real bad. And, you could tell that the heat had gotten to it. I mean, they were just basically, what bees will do if the queen survives the fall, they will basically run her up into a nearby tree or something. Once they realize they're not going to be able to fix what they got going on. So they'll all swarm out of there and go in a nearby tree. And then they will continue to rob out the honey the best that they can, because they know this is a lost cause. So we're going to be going somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And they may be there for about a day, 2 at the most, and then they're gone because the hive beetles will run them out that quick.
You talking about in the new location or in the old comb from the?
No, they will rob out the old comb as much honey as that they can take with them, and then they leave that location. Okay. But if I get a phone call and they say, yeah, trees down, bees, and this and that, my first question: how long has that tree been down? Well, it's been down about a week. Okay, the general beekeepers understand what healthy colony numbers look like, so I have to ask, I mean, are we looking at thousands and thousands of bees? Or are we looking at, maybe a couple hundred bees? There's a big difference. If it's a couple hundred bees, it's probably getting robbed out. But if they tell me, no, there's thousands and thousands, well, send me a picture if you can. If there's still the main amount of bees that came out that were part of that colony are still there a week later, means the queen died and they're doing everything they can to try to, they'll stay there and hold out as long as they can to make a new queen before they leave it.
Wow. Interesting, man.
Yeah, interesting. That's why I make books.
But I mean, that's just bee behavior. Is what it is. Bees are just, man, they're so cool. Oh, they're cool. I tell you.
Have you thought about starting a YouTube channel and putting those videos out? That'd be cool to see.
Nah, I'm not into that whole sharing information thing, because in the beekeeping world, as soon as I say it, there's gonna be 10 people that are probably gonna disagree with it. So I say forget about it.
You should though, because you might
not worth it.
You might come across a situation where a lot of people wouldn't believe it if you weren't there and didn't film it.
That is
true.
true.
To believe they see it. Mm-hmm.
See,
I mean,
could be a viral title.
That could be a viral video. God, I need to come up with something like that.
Maybe a swarm above your cab of your truck or something. You know,
Wow,
something
now
like
you're
that.
thinking.
That would be that would be really cool.
Just
A lot
shot
of
on an
people might want to
iPhone,
see
real
that.
quick, just quick shots. Boom, da-dum, da-dum.
I think it's taking an Android phone. I
What a
don't think it's an
brain trust
iPhone.
we have here. This is good.
You could even.
I'll tell you though, if I were going to do it, I'd probably want to do it with the GoPro because, you know, phones are like all shaky, shaky, shaky. There's no stabilization in this phone. So it would probably be a real shaky video too.
But I think the phone.
You guys are
I think
killing me.
I think the phone video would be more likely to go viral.
It's all clickbait.
You know, in all due funny, I actually had the whole entire thing happen and got on the truck and even said that I was doing this all over again. And that one did. I mean, it's doing all right as far as normal views, but it didn't take off and run. It just happened. It was weird timing. It's weird timing. You put it out there and then you hope you get a good one.
Yeah, I tried to do a similar thing this spring and it didn't come anywhere close. So nobody's videos come as close as yours in the beekeeping world. Has there ever been another beekeeping video that's hit almost 30 million views?
Nope, just Yappy. He's on top of the world.
I don't know of any. I don't know if I've ever seen a beekeeper. Even the people that have millions of subscribers that do something with bees, I don't know if I've ever seen one have that many. This is pretty cool.
I've seen some that have done, you know, done very well.
Yeah, but
I mean, I've seen a bunch that's hit that 4 or 5. I mean, JP hit his viral video hit like 11 or 12.
Oh wow.
You know, he had a real good one out there too, but just algorithms real funny. I mean, it's to the point now where I think that what YouTube does is there was a guy that put out a wasp video within the last week, and it's a paper wasp nest, bald-faced hornets, or the little black ones, you know. And he put that thing out there, and it's edited real good. But I mean, I didn't look at what his other channel is and how he's got a lot of followers for different things like that. But what does that say? He just needs. Oh, I missed it.
There.
I missed it. What he needs to trade the orange shirt for an orange bikini and boom, viral. Yeah. That's what that brown-headed girl from the Honeystead, I think. Is that what it is? Yeah, she's got puppy dog eyes. That's why, you know, throw some puppy dog eyes out there, and man, people are gonna watch your videos. So, I asked my wife one time. I said, you know, I need to buy a new truck, and you know, at least a good used one, but they're expensive. Can I just like have a girl in a bikini in the video with me? She said no. So I'm pretty much having to still ride around this old truck.
Oh man.
I mean, I told her it's strictly business. I mean, this is production value here. She ain't buying it.
What do they say, Yappy? It's better to dwell on the housetop roof than inside with a scornful woman. You're asking for it, man.
Hey, at least I asked. You know, I mean, at least I asked. But let me tell you this: if you can catch a swarm of bees inside of a front seat of a pickup truck, all right, catch the queen by hand and do a killer time lapse and keep it short, and that don't go viral, then forget it. And it just ain't never going to happen for me again. That's all there is to it. I'm just riding that one wave, and I just be what it'll be.
Right to the sunset. Go for what it's worth.
Just ride it. Yeah,
that's why I'm taking up barbecuing. I'm trying to figure out how to take, you know, the honey, do real good barbecue with it, and then I'm going to make money doing that. Who knows?
Maybe it could be barbecue videos.
Well, I mean, I get known for my barbecue, and then do a bee removal from a barbecue grill, which, you know, happens pretty common in like Louisiana, Mississippi. I don't know. Maybe that'll work.
You would have to get like a Texas girl to sit there and these bees, they were living in here for a week.
Is that how girls in Texas talk?
Texas Bee Works.
No, that Texas Bee Works girl does. She videos her whole thing. She videos the whole thing and then goes back and then she dubs the
voiceover,
the audio into it.
I was expecting a little more out of a Texas accent, but maybe
she's got to be in North Texas. There ain't no way she's in South Texas. Those bees would hand it to her.
Yeah,
I think she's in Dallas.
I don't know where.
Dallas or Houston, which is surprising to me. I think she is. I think she's in one of the bigger cities.
Yeah.
I've actually seen her like do some question and answer type stuff, and she really knows a lot about bees. She is very knowledgeable, but it's just I don't know how she picks those videos, because certainly a bee removal expert anywhere isn't going to have consistently be able to be out there in jeans and a nice shirt and her long blonde hair hanging down to the bees and not get lit up occasionally, But
Yeah, I don't know.
anyway,
No idea.
Maybe she's
But
a girl.
she's-
She just smells better. Maybe we're just foul
well,
smelling.
I'm
rough
sure
handling.
I'm certain that's probably true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think she's smoking them with the happy mesquite wood. That's all I'm thinking.
could be.
Bees are like, hey, I don't care. Whatever you say, girl.
Right.
That's got to be something.
Maybe Austin. Pretty sure.
Oh, Austin, I think you're right, man. Matt's from Houston. He would know probably. By the way, Matt actually was the very first person to buy a bottle of honey from my website. I appreciate that, Matt.
Really?
Cool.
Yes, I got a website that's been up a little over a week now. I
What's
guess
the
almost 2
website,
weeks
Bruce?
now, actually. It is very simple. brucesbees.com.
Is it?
BrucesBees.com
Yes.
to find the finest
wonder-
Alabama honey
Well,
from
I wonder if
Bruce's
I'd be
Bees.
able to find
pure
it.
South Alabama honey. Yep.
Pure.
Look
Look
at
at that. How about that?
Oh,
So people, if you want some honey, now I've had a lot of people over the years say they want me to ship them some honey. They want to try my honey. So
that's
hop
it.
on there and order you a bottle or two. Or if you
Right
order $50 worth, you get it free shipping. How about that? Honey is very
There
heavy.
you go. Today's special only. Free shipping. Get in there.
Well, it's not
On
today's special.
$50 or more. Yeah, it is, Bruce.
Yeah. If you order in the next 15 minutes.
But
or
wait, there's
anytime.
more.
Or any time from here or forever.
That's good. That's cool,
Anyway,
man.
we
That's
haven't
exciting.
sold a lot, but we've sold a little bit on there, and we appreciate
That's
all
awesome.
those who have ordered. So I appreciate it.
That's
But,
awesome.
anyway, well, thanks for coming on, Yappy.
Now listen, I got a bottle of Brian's honey,
Yankee
and
honey.
I've been keeping
Is
it
it
under
talk
wraps.
honey?
But he sent me a bottle of honey.
Yappy, I'll send you.
It's-
I'm gonna
it's-
be.
Yappy, you got honey
It's-
from Brian before I did. And I'm only like an hour and a half from him.
I
I see
nailed
where
it.
we're at here. I see what he's doing.
Yappy, I'll
Okay.
send. I'm gonna have a fall harvest, and the fall harvest it gets super dark at times, and it's entirely different flavor. I prefer our fall harvest over the spring. I'll send you a jar of that also when I harvest, and then you can
That'll
compare.
work.
Yeah.
That'll work. I
Hey,
can't
Yappy,
wait.
send me your bottle when
Hey.
you're done so I can taste it too.
I'll send you the cap.
The cap.
I'll send you the cap.
I was
After
going
you
to put
licked it,
Brian's
though.
honey on display at the shop, but maybe I'll just settle for an empty bottle that Yappy already picked through and just put that up there.
Well, but if you put that bottle up there and you say Yappy licked this bottle clean, it'd be like a trophy.
Honey.
I'm speechless.
No, I've come to find that my dogs will eat all their bowl of food if I put a little honey on it, and I found the perfect honey to put on it.
Oh, that just look at that. Mhm.
What? It was from a
Tell-
cutout that I did a few weeks ago. What are you talking
Okay.
about?
All right. Yeah, many Christmas. I was getting ready to send Yappy some honey too. Not now.
Wow.
Huh? Nothing but his
No,
finest
hey.
for his dogs. Yankee honey goes right to Yappy's dogs. I see. I see where we stand.
Man. Just wait
Now,
till I
let me
see
tell you this one. I've got one of my, let's see, was it my last video? I got bees out between some pallets down in Birmingham, and ended up I saved about 3 1-gallon bags of the combed honey from that job. And I didn't think much about it. You know, I've shared a little bit with a few friends. The other day I ended up, I want to taste that honey. I mean, I have not tasted this honey. And opened up that bag, took a spoonful of it, and that stuff tastes better than my wildflower honey I've got 45 minutes north of there ever tasted. Nice, very golden yellow color, but absolutely incredible taste. Got a nice little aftertaste to it that don't burn much. Man, I tell you, I wished I had 100 gallons of that. I wished I could. It was incredible. So I may have to save a little chunk of that, bring it up to, I can figure out, I may just save it for Hive Life and I just have to bring some and let you have some of that. That'd be fair.
Or just come up in
We all
October
heard
and
it
bring
here.
your whole smoking rig, and we'll put a pig on there, and then we'll have some honey, and we'll try to talk Bruce into coming up.
Exactly.
I want to get up there one of these days. I don't know if I'll make it this year, but maybe next year we'll just have to plan a date and get up there. That'd be fun.
Yappy,
They're
stop
all-
by
yeah.
with your helicopter or your private jet next time you're flying north. Pick up Bruce. You guys come up for the afternoon for lunch. Come on down. Perfect.
Yappy Airlines.
Yappy Airlines.
Yeah,
Are you,
you-
well, Bruce, will you? Hey, you don't mind flying, do you, Bruce?
No. If I had a
Well, that's
private
good.
plane,
I mean,
do you,
no,
do
What
you
if
fly a
yeah,
Yappy
private
is the
plane?
pilot?
Do you have your
no,
own private plane?
I mean, we
Yappy?
got an airport. I've got an airport like 5 minutes from here. I mean, it ain't nothing for me to rent a plane for the day. I don't care.
There it is.
Yappy got it like that.
Man, that's the video
Good.
right there.
That is.
Boom.
That would be a video.
Yappy Airlines.
I'm telling you.
Yappy and Bruce getting on the plane flying up to
That would be-
Ohio.
That would be fun.
I'd pick you guys up at the airport.
Airport,
Boom.
they can land right on the ridge at the farm. Wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, that would be good.
If you'll just cut it, we can
listen,
land it.
We just need to get a helicopter and just land right there at the learning
Mm.
yard.
That'd be nice.
That's what we ought to do.
That
We
would
ought
be
to
an
make a
entrance.
grand
You guys
entrance.
come tethering down from underneath and just boom right in the center of the yard, and everyone's just standing around in awe. Yappy and Bruce is here. Finally. Man, this is
We
like a
could
movie.
I'd do it.
We could time it.
We
with,
jump
you know,
like the Black Hawk Down where we jump out in the ropes. We slide down the ropes, Bruce.
I got some friends who are helicopter pilots. Maybe they could snatch one of the Apaches or
With-
Blackhawks
with a
from
veil
the
on.
military.
And you just land right on the side of Hives.
That would be so fun, man.
Wow.
Each just start
I-
inspecting.
Now, see, what I do is I'm gonna go and I'll get life flight to the medical helicopter. Tell them to say I'm having this massive something and I need to go to Ohio. Okay,
For
that's where
surgery.
I need to go to Ohio,
Oh, man.
doctor. Take me to Ohio, doctor. But I need you to pick up Bruce. Bruce is my he's my guy, man. I can't fly without Bruce, or otherwise I get sick to my stomach or something. I get scared. So
Oh,
Bruce has got to
man.
fly with me.
There you go.
Oh,
I'm telling you, that would be fun. Oh,
the
man.
sky's the limit, fellas. The sky's the
I just
limit.
need to talk. I need to talk one of my
You heard
guys
it
that
here first.
flies out at Fort Rucker, flies a Blackhawks or something to fly us up there. And we'd have to have a quick training beforehand of how to, scale down the ropes. And that would be just incredible. That'd be fun.
Yeah, Bruce is my therapist. That'll work. There you. And then
I can
there
see
is
that. I
nobody
can
going to
see that.
deny. They won't ask him
No.
what kind of therapist. They'll just
No.
know. Bruce is
He's a
Yappy needs a
therapist.
therapist without a doubt.
Yep. Yep.
Uh-huh.
We have.
Well, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun.
Well, hang on, Bruce. Is there someone else popping on?
I don't know. Has it popped up on your screen yet?
No.
You said give him a minute.
Okay.
So I don't know.
But wait, there's more.
There could be maybe like 5
Wow.
minutes more.
Yeah,
Pulling out all the
minutes more.
stops for Brian's
Yeah.
big. And if you're just tuning
And
in
we-
now, this is Brian's big 3K show.
Yes. 3K.
It's filled with something.
It's been a good show though. I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're down like half as many folks watching, but they're missing, they're missing the end of it. They're
They're missing
missing
out.
some
See,
of the,
this is where you find the true followers and friends. Okay, if you're
Exactly.
still in here now, especially if you haven't jumped ship when I come in here, these people love you, Brian.
Love you,
right.
Brian. That's it for sure.
Hey,
I'm telling
this
you.
is what I think. You get honey. You get honey. Y'all get honey.
We're like, uh-oh. I just heard the pop. Boop.
there he is. All right. Hey, we got
Wow.
Gentlemen, how are you?
John.
Hey,
Who
we
dat?
good?
John.
Who that?
I don't know who that.
Uh-oh, yeah, you put that
No,
one
that
in
way,
house.
that way. Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
that?
I don't know who that. What's up, Travis?
Oh, man.
Golly,
Woo.
man. Hey, that's the guy that I begged to sell me a cheap extractor when we was up there at Hive Life, so we wouldn't have to carry it home. And he's like, "But I only got 3 of them. I can't. But I'll sell it to you cheap." I'm like, "No, don't do it."
Supply and demand. See,
I know. And now look
Yeah.
at you. Now you got them coming out your ears, man.
I know it.
That is awesome. You're almost as blessed as Brian's 3,000 subscribers.
You know, it's getting close. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm working at it.
All right, man.
Crazy.
All right.
John, I'm gonna have to bust out. You have no idea how thankful I am for that extractor.
Yeah.
Because this year I'm gonna end up having to. It'll go for a third round coming up here shortly.
Nice. Nice.
It's been a good year for it.
Good. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. At least we got one happy customer out there anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, for those who didn't know, Mike Berry put out a video about that extractor earlier today about cleaning that extractor and how
Bigger
easy it was.
Yeah,
And
the
so,
bigger.
yeah, the bigger one, I guess that's right, the 18
Mhm.
frame extractor. But if you want to see how easy it is to clean, and John, is it the same system for all of them, the cleaning mechanism?
Yeah. Yeah. They all go together the same exact way. Yep.
Mhm.
So it looked like it was very simple
Super easy.
to clean and
Yeah.
not you don't have to unscrew a whole bunch of stuff and take a bunch of stuff apart. Looked real simple. And so if you get a chance to watch Mike's video from earlier, it's really good, and it's a not good short video that talks about really how easy and simple it is to clean that thing after your season.
Mhm.
But since John's on here, Brian, we already gave some stuff away from John earlier.
We did, yeah,
certificates,
yeah.
but we got some long termers in here that have hung with us longer than we normally go. So I happen to have one of these that John sent me. a Hive
Oh
tool.
boy.
Oh wow,
And,
nice.
because John is on here and because we still have 66 folks watching, we also got Yappy on here. I thought we could do a quick giveaway. So
You know, hey Travis, why don't you angle that camera up a little bit higher and look better when it's staring at the ceiling instead of your face?
Look at that. He comes out shot across the bow.
he's bringing it.
Oh,
You guys throw a comment in there
Hey,
in the next minute.
Do
or
I have
two.
any boogies?
Oh, good grief. Dude, why did I bring that up?
Oh.
Yappy's-
You got a lot of
Yappy's in the
nose
house.
hair. You got a lot of nose hair in there.
We don't need to extract everything.
Hey, listen, it fell off the top of my head and ended up in my nose.
Touche,
What can I say?
Let me see here. Just tell me when to hit the button and I'll hit it.
Well, we got some folks still throwing some comments.
You're
in there.
commenting.
John, this
comment.
was there were so many folks from Ohio in here. Ohio has become Hilco
Yeah.
country. There was
Okay.
probably, oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 folks were on here with now brand spanking new Hilco extractors that they've been just running through the cycles, and everyone is absolutely over the moon with the quality,
Alright.
the fit, the
So
finish.
Matt won it. Matt won
Matt
the Hive tool.
Kirkland.
Yeah.
Gets the
Matt, are
Hive
you
tool.
still on here? Still on here? You know how to get a hold of me. And I probably
That's
actually have your
awesome.
address, so I can find your address. And
We need
we
the
will get it
wheel
out
back,
to you.
Brian. This Nightbot giveaway thing,
I
it's
didn't
for
e-
the birds. We need
so
the
I
wheel.
didn't even know you spun, or can't use the word spin because it wasn't
I
a spin.
know. It's almost like I have failed in the giveaways. You know?
Matt, you got a Hive tool coming, man. You got a Hive tool coming.
John,
from Hilco.
he's kind and he sends those codes out.
John, I'll
saying
tell you, I have
congrats.
used
$5,000 off was very generous. I don't know how you could do that, but John,
I know.
Yes.
You got to sell a lot of extractors, let me tell
a
you.
lot.
Yeah. Yep.
I've
Yeah.
used my Hive tool to death, the one I got at Hive Life, and they work really good. So anyway,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that style of Hive tool as well. And it looks even better with our logo on it, let's face it.
I've got some other ones I've used for years, and I thought they were my favorites, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the Hilco one or the one with the little hook on it? Because I love that hook right there.
Yeah.
That's
When
just-
I
and
got
like,
that Hive tool last year at the conference, it's still sitting. It's on like my honey shelf. It hasn't been used.
man,
I
Brian,
haven't-
what?
That's because
So
you're
I
using that
see.
big hammery claw thing. What is that thing that I see you use, Brian? I can't tell if that's like a butchering. Is it a hog butchering tool or a rock gemming tool or a booger picker? I don't know what that
It's
thing
that.
is. But
It's that.
Need to send it to Yappy.
Did you say booger picker?
He's falling asleep.
I won! Hey, actually, if you can make a Hive tool look better by putting a Hilco emblem on it, I'm thinking, hey,
buddy, wouldn't hurt.
come on now.
You got a point.
Maybe John will be nice to me now.
You got a point. You got a point for sure there. You know, Brian, if you want to decrease the value of that Hive tool, bring it back to me next year at Hive Life. I'll autograph it for you.
I might do that.
See? Yeah, if Justin Ruger can autograph books, I can autograph Hive tools, for crying out loud.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How about for those that bought your extractors, bring that with and autograph them too.
Yeah, you know what? You do that. Go ahead. Good idea. Haul it back to Hive Life.
For every extractor sold at Hive Life, you get a free autograph.
I don't know if that's going to help or hurt, you know?
Oh, come on. Look at those pretty cheeks you got, baby. I'm telling you.
Oh, boy. Here we go. It's getting deep, boys. I think it's time to shut this thing down. Oh, man.
Killing me.
I'm telling you.
Hey,
I thought I was going to be able to get till January before I had to see you again, Travis, and here I have to see you tonight. Wow.
Why you keep calling me Travis, by the way? Yappy.
Okay, Yappy. I'm sorry.
When I come to you
Mr.
for a favor,
Yappy.
you will
Yappy.
not deny me.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, we got okay. In the red corner we have. In the blue corner.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, last fall or last winter, he was ordering some stuff off our website to bring to Hive Life, I think, and he texts me or emails me, this Travis old guy. He's like, I'm the Yappy Bee Man. And I'm like, who?
Oh,
And, but now I realize my error. See, I realized that I was in the presence of greatness when I met him then at Hive Life, and I've never made the same mistake since until I insulted him tonight. So I'm sorry, Mr. Yappy. I'll try to do better next time.
wow. On the
It's
record.
okay, Jay. Not a problem.
Bringing people together. See, this is great.
And now Bruce is
was
regretting having me
sitting
on now.
Yeah, I'm lining up wanting to find out if you actually have a radial cappings extractor, to go along with the, extractors, regular extractors. But now I don't know. Now I'm probably going to have to go to that big box store or something.
The big box store, yeah. Well, they probably have one. It's probably not cheap, but they have one.
Yeah.
I've got one. I just want a better one.
Yeah. Well, we're working on one. Yappy. There's one in the works. So might be 2 years. Might not be this coming year, but maybe the year after. We got a lot of things in the works.
I got some pointers for you.
Okay.
Just have your people call my people, and I'll give you some tips.
Will do. From now on, when you email me and say you're the Yappy Bee Man, I will be sure to show due respect. I've learned. Yeah.
But listen, you got to go through Brian because he's got the 3,000 subscribers right now. So he's my middleman. You don't come to Yappy without going to Brian.
Okay. Fair enough.
You guys are crazy.
You guys just took over the show. You guys
Oh my word! Sorry about that.
Warming.
No,
This
it's
is great.
Hey, John,
It's been
So anyway, back to Brian.
Brian.
I mean, it's like his birthday and all.
Right.
People that stick around
Sitting in a hotel room, getting 3,000 subscribers.
That's the life right there.
Oh, I mean,
Hey.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere else other than sitting right here in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, like at home on the front porch with
But I mean,
I
look,
don't know
I
about
got
that.
fancy lights behind me. See?
and curtains. Yeah,
And
it's
curtains. Lots of curtains.
Lighting's not
Yeah.
bad.
It's a nice touch.
See?
Get your Cayman Reynolds white T-shirt on. Yeah.
That's
See.
fancy.
I was
Yeah.
trying not to say anything. So thank you for saying that because it was like, oh man. He just like 5 minutes before the show, he's like getting out of the shower, swooped his hair back, didn't even realize he was still wearing the T-shirt.
just turn into the
Wow.
roast show. Just who's the roast?
Right,
next?
right.
Let's see.
Goodness
Next
gracious.
up.
Yeah, he brings out the worst in people. I tell you, that's what it is.
Well,
Jason.
Oh
my
yeah, it's Brian's birthday.
No. My birthday actually is in 13 days.
Quit trying to get out of it now. Happy birthday!
How old are you
to
gonna be, Brian?
you. How's
On
that?
September 20th,
Okay, don't quit my day job.
I turn.
No, don't. Definitely don't.
I'll turn 50 this year.
50?
Yeah.
You're that old?
I'm still the singer. I'm still the senior citizen of this bunch. Ooh.
Yeah, 50.
Everybody's like 50. Man, that's getting old. And then I'm like,
Everyone's like 50.
you guys just
How
don't
dare
even
you.
know.
Greg just, you
God.
just had a big birthday not that long ago.
I know I'm ugly, but I'm not old yet. Man, 50?
Okay.
That is getting
Yeah, I
up
think
there.
Brian tried to tell me he was like 38 years old or something like that. I'm going, come on, dude.
28.
We got Jose on here.
We need to just get like Jose in here. We'll get Ian back. Just turn it into a party.
Just the roast show.
You know?
Just yep.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, we do need to probably wrap it up here pretty quick, guys. We appreciate
John,
y'all
thanks
coming in.
for
Happy and John.
the discount codes for all the folks here.
Yeah, John,
Thanks
you
for everything
again.
that you do for us at Nature's Image Farm and all of our folks. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, we were bragging and talking you up. There's a lot of choices out there, but when we have the choice to support a good quality product with a good fit and finish that supports a local American great family, that's a big deal. That's what we want to do, and we appreciate you being there. For us, it's a win-win. So thanks for everything you do for Nature's Image Farm and the stream team, buddy. Appreciate you guys.
Well, thank you guys so much for your support. And thanks for having me on tonight. It's been a lot of fun. A few minutes of best I've had all day.
Well, good.
The Wednesday.
Get you two guys on the program, it picks it up for sure. So all these folks, these folks that hung out till after we normally get off,
right?
They got a treat. They got
bonus material.
We're going for like the Bob and Lee, like 5 hour mark.
I know we're trying to. I say I want to compete with them for the time, and then I'm like, you know what? We're 2.5 hours in. Let's wrap it up. So anyway, but man, we appreciate everyone for being on here. Everyone that was on here all night long, and especially those that are still on here. Thanks so much for hanging out with us for a couple hours here.
Yeah. Well, should I?
Brian, congratulations on the 3K. I know it's only going to be a matter of time before you're at the 5 and the 10 and up from there. So appreciate everything that you do, sharing just the genuineness of Brian and you and your bees. That's a big deal. I know I enjoy it, and a lot of folks do. So congratulations, Brian. Keep up the good work.
Greg, I don't make a habit of watching too many videos, so you should feel honored that today I watched your video on the murder slime, whatever it's called. But anyway, did I see that you're about to hit 5,000 subscribers?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Is there a big bash?
No. It's just a thing. Today's about Brian's 3K, but what's fun is everyone's growing, and I think it's evident by the relationships that we're all forming, and then our channels are all growing, and that's the main thing. So, but thanks, John, for tuning in to see the Hive Beetle murder sauce video.
Good stuff. Good stuff for sure.
Where it features an Enduro HillCo extractor that is also a very, very handy bucket holder too.
It did. It's good for something for sure.
Hey John, if you get a chance to watch Greg's video about the picking up the pieces, the last one he did, that was a really good. I mean, I think we've all made some pretty good videos lately, but that's a really, really good video. Well done, and about his learning yard and hives got messed up in a storm, and how he picked up the pieces, and kind of where he thinks where that strength comes from. And I think it'll hit a chord with you. It was really good. It's a chill bump type story, and it's awesome.
Yeah, okay. I'll definitely watch it.
No Extractor in it, but
that's okay.
Like it.
It'll be good. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, guys. Well, ready to wrap it up?
You mean that's it? You're done?
That's it.
Oh, come on. Bye, John.
Bye. Yeah. Glad you got to see me. It was good to see you too, kind of, anyway.
Night, Travis.
John, thank you again.
I know. It's been
John Hill.
8 months. We got another 5 months to go, 4 months to go. Can't wait.
Good night, guys.
See you guys.
We'll see you. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Boy, wasn't that fun?